It's good to see y'all faces again. Well, not faces, but y'all avatars. Mr. Trade like a butt, you understand? You understand. Neutrality is the way. Let me make sure I'm recording. Okay, I'm recording. How are we all doing today? Happy Wednesday. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Today is Psychology Talk today. Bringing you a live presentation slideshow. But I want to check up on all of you, and I want to ask, what's been your trend as of lately? You know I got to start off with the trend talk. What's been your internal trend? Have you been uptrending, downtrending, consolidating, ranging? What's been your trend? Mic check. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? So talk to me. What's been y'all trend? Leo got an uptrend going. I'm loving that. But let's be honest here. Leo uptrending. Who else been uptrending? Who's been downtrending? Consolidation. Now, the internal trend you've been experiencing as far as consolidation, has that been trading-wise or psychology-wise? What's been the reason for your consolidation? So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff today, mainly dopamine. Keta's been uptrending. I'm loving to hear that. On correction. All right, it's a correction. It ain't no downtrend, though. It's a correction. Giovanni, Boniface consolidation, Delisa consolidation. Peso says new to chart markup. That's why I say consolidation. But you're getting there. Every day that you apply the effort to go ahead and learn chart markups, highs, lows, externals, internals, fibs, whatever it is, the more effort you put in, the easier it becomes to understand the markets. And from there, you start to begin your uptrends. But we are going to talk about psychology specifically today. A very important subject. Y'all know how serious I am about psychology. Because this accounts for 95, not even 90% of your entire trading career. Your psychological strength. Because we all know that in this trading space, the entire field, most of it is psychology. A very small percent of it is risk management, and then the other small percent of it is technological. But this is a big psychological game. We are all trading shit, placing our worth and values, charts on statistics. You got to be mentally built for this stuff. I just want to wait for a little bit before we get started. Today we're going to be talking about dopamine trap, addictive trading, and the illusion of progress. I'm sure we all in here know about dopamine, correct? If you know about dopamine in this motherfucker, no, type of 1. A 1. We're going to be talking about dopamine. For all my people who watch Andrew Huberman, or whoever who has read the Dopamine Nation, it's lit, man. We finna be talking about dopamine. I'm about to get everybody right. It's lit. It's Wednesday, midweek. I'm feeling nice. I got a presentation loaded up for y'all. Come on, man. We need energy in this month. Yeah. We're going to talk about dopamine and just the effects that this has on your trading. Very big effect on your trading. And it's easy to assume that the effect that it has on your trading, but it goes deeper than that. Can anyone else hear this stream? Can you hear me? As long as you can hear me, that's what matters. All right, let's get this started. Y'all can see my screen, correct? Make sure y'all can see my screen. Okay, got it. So today we are talking about the dopamine trap. As I've said, the addictive trading and the illusion of progress. Brought to you by yours truly, Rio, aka Swore. So the reason this matters, this has importance. You see, most traders think they need more strategy, more indicators, or more screen time. The truth is, you're not losing because of your edge. You're losing because of your chemistry, the chemistry between you and your impulses. Dopamine is the brain rewards and motivation system. The chemical is silently running the show. Dopamine is the reason you feel the urge to trade even when there's no setup. It's why you overtrade after a win, and it's why you revenge trade after a loss. And the worst part about it all is that it feels productive, but it keeps you stuck in a loop that kills consistency. And consistency wins here. Habits wins here. Good habits win here. A lot of traders often sabotage themselves with compulsive overtrading. Logic takes a backseat here. Compulsive, impulsive, you just let the intrusive thoughts win. It's a chemical driver. Dopamine drives this behavior, not sound trading principle. It's biochemical. It's part of your human system. So it's completely natural, but that's not an excuse to let it take over and affect your trading for worse. It works beyond strategy. You can't fix a biochemical loop with strategy alone. A deeper approach is needed. So I want to go ahead and talk about what is dopamine in the first place. I'm sure we all have a great, or maybe perhaps a decent idea of what a dopamine is. But let me break it down to you. Dopamine is, it's often misunderstood. It's not the chemical of pleasure. It's the chemical of anticipation. When you anticipate something, that is when dopamine is released. It's what drives motivation. It's the seat of motivation. It spikes when you expect a reward. See, in trading, that reward might be a win, or the thrill of going on a long or short, a buy, sell, pressing that button, or just simply being in a trade. But the dangerous part is the chase becomes addictive, not the result. And when that craving isn't satisfied, you get anxious, irrational, impulsive. It's the craving chemical. Dopamine is the brain's craving chemical. It's the compulsion creator. It creates urges through anticipation. So now that we have a decent, or more, more decent / comprehensive understanding of what dopamine is, first off, I want to make sure you all are following me. Are you all following me? Got it. Next slide. So now here's the built-in dopamine loop when it comes to trading. What you have to understand is that the market is basically a casino with candlesticks, bright charts, fast moves, constant updates. It's a dopamine machine. A fucking casino with candlesticks. Trading view is Las Vegas in this motherfucker. And if you're not careful, your brain will start associating activity with safety. You'll trade not because you see a high probability setup, but because your nervous system craves stimulation. The more you do it, the deeper that natural groove becomes. When you do that, you're conditioning yourself to overtrade without realizing it. The markets are stimulating by design, like I said, fast, reactive, unpredictable. There's visual triggers, charts, colors, and winds trigger dopamine release. All these alerts and stuff. Neural training trains the trader's brain to chase excitement, not execution. Then you have the reinforcement side of it. Each trade strengthens neural pathways seeking stimulation. The dopamine loop starts to stem from when you win. Now you become addicted to wins, so you do anything to win. You might take profits early just to win, just to know that you've won. Trade ain't even hit the full TP, ain't even hit TP1. You just seen a little bit of green on that P&L. You was just like, okay, let me take that. Let me take those profits because that feels good. It's not what's conducive to my trading success, but since it feels good, I'm going to take profits early. Next, the over trading cycle. We're going to break it down step by step. You have the discomfort trigger. Boredom, emotional discomfort becomes unbearable. You feel anxious or uncertain. Maybe after a loss or a slow session, we all have slow sessions where our setups don't come up. Maybe it might be a Monday, a Sunday, a Friday. You won't have a setup that comes up. You just feel discomfort off of the fact that things are running slow today. You feel bored, uncertain. Then you take an impulsive action. You enter a random trade just to feel something, just to feel in control, just to have something come up, just to cure that boredom off of your trading, the over trading cycle. You enter impulsive trades without a proper setup, just to enter it, just to say fuck it. Then there's a spike in dopamine. Temporary high, you experience temporary excitement regardless of outcome. Win or lose, you feel relief, some kind of relief from this boredom, from this anxiety of damn, I gotta get this next week. I gotta get this. I gotta get, Then that relief becomes addictive. You crave it again, then you repeat the cycle. Chase the chemistry. You seek another dopamine hit as levels drop because your baseline drops. So the higher the high, the lower the low. The higher the high, the harder the crash. What's that saying? The higher you are, the taller you are, the harder you fall. It's basically that same kind of concept. This is the dopamine trap. You're not chasing a good setup, you're chasing the emotional high of trading itself. And these are the simple, not simple, but the very subtle and minute things that run you. That is your job as a trader to be aware of so that you do not blow your account. You don't fuck up the gains. You just spent a whole lot of time, a whole lot of strategy, a whole lot of back testing to make in the past month or whatever the case is. These are the parts of your natural humanoid instinct that you must take control of in this very rational, bot-minded field as trading. Are you all following me? Correct. Got it. So next, here are the signs that you are addicted to dopamine trading. This is how you find out if you're addicted. No setup trading. You find yourself entering positions without clear criteria. The act of trading itself has become the goal. You're not even trading to trade with a certain goal. I mean, obviously, we all have the goal of winning. But you're just entering trades without proper analysis. You're just entering just to enter. No clear criteria. You feel restless when you're not in a trade. You have flat position anxiety. You feel restless or anxious when not in your trades. The market seems boring unless you have skin in the game. Seems like you have not much to the groove of your life unless you're in a trade. Like I said, it's become a casino, a candlestick casino. You've damn near become addicted to gambling, just not in the casino, but in the markets. Post-win recklessness, increasing position sizes after wins, the dopamine high clouds your risk management judgment. The more you feel that high, the more you feel motivated to chase even higher highs. Now you risk more in order to get higher rewards. The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. This leads to risk management issues. For the sake of trying to beat your last record, you're going to risk more than what you risked during your last record to beat the record, the current record. I made 200 last night or the other week. Today I'm going for 1,000, 5,000. So I'm going to risk my entire 400 that I made last time. You develop avoidance behaviors, resistance to journaling or reviewing your trades. Reflecting on your process feels less rewarding than taking action. You only do the exciting things when it comes to trading. That's the biggest sign that you're dopamine trading. You only do the exciting things. With trading, most of it is boring. With trading, most of the time you're spending waiting for a setup. It's like as if you're fishing. People who fish just be sitting there most of the time just waiting for a fish to take the bait. Just like how you wait for the markets to present your setup and then you pull the trigger. You reel the shit in. Proper risk, take the trade, bam, boom. As simple as it sounds, that's not what it is for most traders. You overtrade even though you know it's off plan. You size up impulsively after wins. You spiral emotionally after losses. You avoid journaling because it ruins the thrill. If any of that hits home, that's not bad. But what it does prove, it just means your brain has been running on autopilot and it's time to regain control. It's time to stop allowing these impulsive and compulsive actions, these occurrences that ruin your ability to trade actively, fully conscious, instead of allowing the subconscious patterns to take control, the subconscious rewards that you're used to via the dopamine system, to just fuck up your whole month, quarter, week of gains. So we're going to talk about how this sabotages your growth. Because as I've been mentioning over and over, without proper analysis of how this affects your trading, it will take over your trading and it will ruin you. The biggest tragedy of dopamine addiction in trading is that it makes success accidental and not repeatable. Running off this dopamine, strictly dopamine trading, is not consistent. It's just always going to be full of highs, super highs, and even lower lows. The higher you try to go for those highs, the lower you just crash. Because all you're focused on is the excitement of trading. All you can focus on is, I need to figure out that holy grail. That holy grail is going to make me $1 million ASAP. ASAP. I can't wait for Romel's next class. He's just going to drop the strategy, put it right on the chart, wait for my setup, and I'm taking it. Full margin every time. I can't wait to find the holy grail. I can't wait to find that one strategy that just completes it all. And from there, I don't have to worry about anything after that. Just chasing the highs. It don't even have to be in the market. It don't even have to be on the charts per se as far as taking a trade. But the highs of trading as a whole. A certain knowledge you want to get. The high of obtaining that certain knowledge. Or a certain amount you may want to risk. The high of that. You lose discipline here. Trading plans become optional when emotions drive decisions. This is when autopilot kicks in. This is when your subconscious takes control here. Your edge evaporates. No reliable edge can form without consistency. As I've said before, you lose consistency as a whole when you dopamine trade. You also experience emotional depletion. Burnout follows the roller coaster of highs and lows. You burn the fuck out. Why? Because you've just been spending all your time chasing highs. You have no more energy left to chase anything, whether high or low. And the thing is, what's interesting is that when you trade, when you've become emotionally involved in your trading, it's never consistent. It's always just going to be highs and lows. Nothing is ever consistent when it becomes emotional in trading. When you care about the result of your trades, you'll never feel the same way every time because you're going to lose and you're going to win. Both are going to happen no matter what. You're always going to lose at some point. You may be 100% this week. Next week, let's see. Next month, let's see. At some point, you're going to lose. And when you lose, the feeling of losing versus the feeling of winning obviously just isn't the same. It's not the same feeling. So when you're emotionally involved in, when you're emotionally invested into your trading outcome, your trading results, something that you cannot control, because once you place that trade, it's out of your control. The market takes control of everything it has to do. It's either going to follow your bias or it's not. Once you become emotionally invested in that which you cannot control, roller coasters will always arise internally. Always. It's just how the game goes. You also experience performance chaos. Results become random and non-repeatable. You destroy your system by not following it. You reinforce randomness instead of discipline. You burn out mentally and emotionally. Worst of all, you lose trust in yourself. Then you start to believe you're undisciplined. The whole time you're not, you're just chemically hijacked. You're hijacked by the dopamine system. You following me? Thank you. So it's time to continue. Since people become chemically hijacked, we have to talk about ways to ground yourself. This is important. Dopamine Nation by Anna Lim Key. I've read the book once, about to read it twice. I've always talked about this book and how important it is towards learning about the dopamine system. Or how valuable, not important, but valuable. Every dopamine high has an equal and opposite crash. Your brain has a seesaw inside of it. When you spike pleasure too often, pain catches up. When you tip on the seesaw side of pleasure, pain or a crash will always tip to the other side of the pleasure and give you an equal output of the input that you've put in as far as pleasure. So the higher you chase those highs, the lower and the more heavier those crashes get. The more you chase stimulation, the more numb you become. That's why you keep needing to trade more and more to feel the same spark you once did. And you just made, 4 or 5 cents off of trading. It's the dopamine. It's not your fault, it's biology. But once you're aware of it, it's your responsibility to fix it. Anna's research from Dopamine Nation shows that traders are particularly vulnerable to dopamine dysfunction due to the immediate feedback loop of markets. Immediate. High dopamine creates a pain-pleasure imbalance in the brain's reward system. The neurological state makes disciplined trading nearly impossible as the brain seeks stimulation over strategy. Overstimulation leads to numbness and compulsive repetition regardless of outcomes. This is where you get the result of just being in a trade, just to be in a trade. Now, I'm sure most of you aren't this extreme with your dopamine trading, but it can get this extreme. Or maybe you are this extreme and you're just not aware of it. But in case you are, here's how you break the dopamine trap. You really have to start trading. You really have to start by trading less so you can feel more. You shift from chasing to observing. You reward detachment, not entries. The path to mastery isn't enforcing trades. It's in creating space between impulse and execution. See, that's the first step, recognizing that trading from emotion isn't strength. It's instability. Train delayed gratification. Build the neural pathways of patience. Start with small waiting periods between urge and action. If you feel the urge to trade even when your setup's not there, just wait and observe the urge. You don't have to act on the urge. You just observe the urge. I get that you want to make money. We all want to make money here, but you have to have reasonings as to why you're making money that particularly correlates to what you're seeing in the markets in the moment. Is your setup there or is it not? And if it's not there, you have no reason to be trading. You need to have a reason to be trading. Correct. We all know that. You also reward emotional equilibrium. Celebrate maintaining calmness during market volatility. Notice how this improves decision quality. Sit and observe. You don't have to act. You don't have to be excited. Not that you don't have to be excited. You can always celebrate your wins, but don't chase the highs here. Neutrality wins here. Because both good and happens here. In the markets, both good and bad happens here. Intentional neural rewiring. Actively build new associations through mindfulness and intention setting before sessions. Here's when you can become, here's where you start to change the ways in which you respond to the markets. Intentions. Here's the intention I'm going to set before I enter the charts and I start looking for my setup. The intentions could be something as simple as, okay, I'm going to be calm. The intention here is to be calm. The calm before the storm. Which storm? The storm of finding, of seeing your setup, taking your setup, and letting the markets do what it do without doing anything. Once you set that trade, or once you place the trade, done. You have nothing else to worry about. It's interesting because in the markets, sorry, I just had somebody text me, but it's interesting because in the markets, it's so easy to let these things hijack us. We're taking profits too early. We sit here and try to place our sense of, we sit here and try to place our, how I say, our perspective on what we believe our, damn, I just forgot my whole train of thought. Fuck it, we're gonna go to the next slide. But here, let me make sure y'all following me real quick. Y'all follow me? All right, for sure. Be back on this. So we're going to talk about dopamine detox. Here's a few ways in which you can detox your dopamine system and allow yourself to take control of the impulsive actions, the compulsive actions, these impulses that take control of your trading. No charts outside of your planned session, no price alerts or indicator, overload, max 2 trades per day, 2 to 3 trades per day, max, and they must follow your system. The highest quality setups. You celebrate patience, not profits. Celebrate the execution of your system, of your strategy. Do not celebrate the wins per se. Because what that does is it allows you to take control over what you can control, which is your strategy, which is the system, what you bring to the table, how you respond to the setup, the risk that you put on your trades. That's what you do have. That's what you do have control over. The patience. End each day with reflection. What did I feel? What did I chase? Visual noise reduction. Percentage of traders, 80% of traders will improve decision making after simplifying their charts. 3 to 5 trade limit. For me, I would say 2 to 3. 30-minute daily detachment, minimum off-screen time needed to reset dopamine sensitivity. Patience premium, average improvement in win rate after celebrating patience over action. Most of the action of trading is just patience because, like I said, you're just fishing. You're fishing for your setup. Fishers be waiting for the fish to catch the bait. You're waiting for the charts, the candles to catch the bait of your setup. Once you see your setup, you take the trade, you pull the trigger. But before that, you're just spending most of your time waiting. And it's okay to wait. And the better you can become at that, the better your trading becomes. Rewiring the habit loop. The key here is replacing each component of the habit loop with healthier alternatives that still satisfy the brain's need for reward. It's okay to have dopamine releases and dopamine. It's okay to allow dopamine to be a big part of your trading career. You just have to learn how to rewire this to be directed to something else. So instead of getting dopamine releases from profits, you get the dopamine release of executing the perfect trade. Whether you win or lose, you know you executed the trade perfectly according to your system. And it's easy. Not easy, but it's interesting because behavior follows this simple formula. You have a cue. From a cue, that triggers a craving. What the craving triggers is an action. What the action triggers is a reward. To rewire the loop, you don't just stop the behavior, you redesign it. For one's cue, for the usual cue, you feel bored. Instead, you replace that with use breath work instead of trading. Replace it with something. The action. You don't just enter a trade, you journal the urge, you observe it. What the reward does for you is you celebrate the fact that you held your power. You're not eliminating dopamine, you're just directing it towards the right things. Instead of allowing these things to take control of your trading, and now you're blowing profits, hard-earned money, you're blowing the funded account that you spend time getting funded on in the first place. You're finding ways to redesign your dopamine system and how it's directed in your trading. So I got some affirmations here for you. And I want you all to repeat it with me as I state them. I have a few of them, actually. Behavior follows belief, so if you want to change your habits, change how you see yourself. Now, repeat after me. I trade from discipline, not from emotion. I find power in stillness. I don't need a trade to feel in control. I'm addicted to consistency, not chaos. And lastly, oh, no, that was the last one. So for the closing insight and conclusion, the market isn't testing your edge. It's testing your emotional maturity, the intelligence, if anything. You're not addicted to trading. You're addicted to how it makes you feel. The rush, the relief, the illusion of progress. However, the real power comes from being still, from waiting, from not needing anything, because that's when the market finally respects you back. Dopamine isn't evil, it must be mastered. It can fuel progress when properly channeled. Your true edge comes from stillness and the ability to wait. Creates opportunity and visibility. Here's your next steps. You can audit your setup, remove unnecessary indicators and alerts. Anything that has nothing to do with your system, eliminate it. Less is best. Simplicity wins in the markets. Simplify your charts to reduce visual stimulation. This only helps your dopamine system. And then you have your subconscious. You have your entire subconscious in which these things can get triggered by as well. So if you eliminate this, it just helps you all in all. You create trade rules, establish clear criteria for trades, include maximum daily trades and mandatory waiting periods. Even journal them. Build reflection habit. Schedule daily journaling time. Focus on process quality rather than outcome. The better you can get at processing what is it that you do when you trade, observing it, becoming aware. Awareness is the first step. The better you can make change. Take time to make change on what's not serving you in the markets. And lastly, you join our community. You're all already here. Romel Richards, connect with traders working on the same challenges. Accountability accelerates transformation. And that is it for the presentation. Now, we're going to talk about questions y'all might have. Zeke, Romel, if y'all want to get up here and speak more. OJ says, what about the fear of entering trades? See, that comes from subconscious patterns, which I spoke about before. The fear of entering trades. Let me take some time to think about this. See, because it's not just a fear, there's a reason to the fear. There's a reason why you're having the fear. And that may stem from a variety of things, maybe the fear of winning, the fear of losing, actually. And the fear of losing could also stem from low self-esteem, high expectations set for yourself in life. As I've said over and over again, time and time again before, there's a reasoning to every psychological issue when it comes to your trading. If you experience fear, there's a reason to your fear. There's a deeper meaning to your fear. There's a deeper meaning to your anxiety. There's a deeper meaning to your impulsiveness. There's a deeper meaning to all of it. Talk about the rush of winning and the rush for winning. Interesting. One more time. Yes, I can. So Rodney was talk about the rush of winning and the rush for winning. So the rush of winning, that's specifically dopamine related. The rush for any kind of win is just dopamine related to begin with. I feel there's none that's better than the other because both just rushes the process. It's a rush for a reason. In this game, consistency wins. When you rush, there's a lack of consistency. Rushing doesn't equate to consistency. It just doesn't, because you're gonna find ways to take shortcuts in every action that you take. So with the rush of winning, it only perpetuates more of the high of winning. So therefore, you're chasing more and more of a higher win. Then you have the rush for winning. So now to even get to the win in the first place, you're rushing that process, learning the markets, learning the markups, learning the strategy. So now you don't even get the time to perfectly perfect the system in which you're using to engage the markets. So now the foundation isn't even built solidly. It's just built on fucking hopes and dreams because you rush the entire process. So none are better. Rushing in general isn't good. You know what I'm saying? Why are we rushing? Where's the lust for speed and the anxiety coming from? Comparison. One of the big ones here. Comparison. You go on social media, you see everybody's winning. Everybody look like they winning. You see Sai, he winning. You see Romel, he winning. Everybody's winning. All you see on YouTube is everybody winning. Everywhere on social media is everybody looks like they winning. So what it makes you do, you want to feel like you're winning. You feel left out, FOMO. You want to participate in some of that win. We all have a reason. We all have a reason to be rushing. We all have a reason to be rushing. Maybe for some of us, we have parents who are running out of time to be on this planet. And we got to hurry up and get these riches before they get up out of here. Buy your mother a crib, buy your pops a crib, whatever. Maybe some of us have kids in which we do this for. So we have a reason to rush. We all have a reason to rush, but is rushing still good? And trading specifically, no. Because you get hijacked. You get chemically hijacked when you're rushing in the charts. And trading, when you're rushing, it just never turns out good for you. The only way it turns out good for you is luck. And how often are people lucky here? Not many. Learn pacing, consistency. Institutions are only consistent. You have Chase Bank. You invest in a savings, you gain 0.7% per year, and it's a consistent percentage every year. And I'm sure most of us know what the banks do with your money. They trade with the money. So they're always consistent with their profits. Consistent. Big money does this. Why is you as a retail trader not doing the same thing? Pace is important here. Zeke often talks about the risk management aspect of trading. He's the risk management specialist. Considering his perspective on the markets. You don't just look at your profits in the form of, okay, how much can I make in this one trade? No, you look at profits from a week-to-week basis. In a span of 20 trades that I might take this week or 10 trades that I might take this week. Then that's when the profits show, not this one trade here. It's where you build consistency. It comes all together. And something that I always talk about is matching your real life outside of the markets and having it match your trading. Like trading is a lifestyle. Trading is literally a lifestyle. If you're patient outside of the markets, you're going to be patient within the markets. If you're impulsive outside of the markets, you're going to be impulsive inside of the markets. It's just a big personality game. Trading will show you exactly where your flaws are located. Trading will literally tell you if you're being impatient. The markets will tell you if you're being greedy. The markets will tell you if you're being too scared. And so then from there, it becomes your responsibility to assess that and see where that's lying and where that's being displayed in your real life outside of the markets. There's a reason as to you being fearful. Luck builds bad habits. Something that Anna talks about, no, actually it's James Clear in Atomic Habits, he talks about is that good habits make time your ally. Good habits make time your ally, bad habits make time your enemy. And we're all here in a race against time. We all have a reason to rush. But what does rushing do for your trading? It does absolutely nothing. And it's funny because those who pace themselves, who go at a slower pace than those who rush, end up more profitable and better off in the long term than those who rushed. What the fuck is the point of rushing here? And it's because of dopamine. People are rushing for the high of feeling like winning. They want to be on top of the world. Everybody in this motherfucker want to have main character energy. And it's funny because in your pursuit of main character energy, you become even more of an NPC. Because you're ran by the system and you're not running the system. You're ran by the trade and you're not the one who's calling the trade. It's your subconscious loop, the dopamine loop that's running your system of trading that has become the system in which you have no control over. So yes, I always talk about the life you live outside of trading is directly reflected inside of your trading. The most optimal trading lifestyle, to me, in my opinion, a minimalist and spiritually driven lifestyle. Minimal. Less is best. The more you cloud your daily life, the more your trading is going to be clouded. If you got baby mama drama, then you got bills to pay, then you got issues with family, you can't trust your homeboys, you got people out here to get you. How you going how you going to trade calm? How you going to make the best trading decisions? You can't. You got too much going on in your mind. People with the most noise in their life seem to be the most stuck when it comes to trading. It's crazy. People with hella noise in their life, hella noise, just seem to be the most stuck when it comes to trading. Clarity is found in just simple neutrality. Less is best. So I always speak to people and I tell them, yo, the lifestyle you live outside of trading correlates directly to inside of your trading. If you're living fearful, if you're living by scarcity and not abundance, you're going to see that in your trading. The deeper you get with yourself, the deeper your pockets and the trading charts will be, the deeper your profits become. You got any insight, Romel, to speak on? You know what? I bet what made you feel like compelled to take that trade was the fact that before, when you was up and thinking about the setup, you were replaying in your head, okay, I'm finna get this profit and this profit is gonna get me there and I'm finna do that with that. You were already calculating what the moves was gonna be before you even got the profits. And what that does, dopamine. Now you feel motivated to go ahead and take the trade. Dopamine has hijacked your system. You're spending the money before you even make the money, even though It's what, it was probably a funded account, but you knew, okay, that was going to get you closer to being funded. So you already calculated the funds before you even had the funds. So what that did is stopped you from making the best decision, which is, okay, let me go to sleep, wake up, take the trade. Then there's also a combination of probably not wanting to be abandoned by the move. Abandonment issues. Yes, as was spoken about before, these things have a very bad effect on your trading. For example, abandonment issues. You don't want to be abandoned by the move. Fear of missing out. That triggers abandonment issues. People who go through depression and low self-esteem, they don't feel confident enough to trade. So then you have people who overtrade and you have people who undertrade. People who feel safe without taking a trade. You have a lot of scared traders here. See, I often put emphasis on the people who take a lot of trades, but then we have a lot of scared money here. People who don't want to risk anything. All they've had is money trauma. Usually, 9 times out of 10, scared money is the people who have grown up in poverty. So you already have money traumas attached to your personality. You never knew what it was like to have a lot of money or a lot of resources. So all the resources that you do have, you're very cautious about what you do with the resources, which is, it's understandable. However, does that help you in the markets? Facts is the facts. No, it don't. And so, like I was saying with the dopamine system and it hijacking you, it's in ways that you wouldn't even notice. So many ways in which you wouldn't even notice. Does anybody else have any other insight or question that they want to ask about? I'm kind of just going with the flow at this point. Romel, anything? Zeke, anything? You should get Zeke up in here, see what he got any insight.
Yeah, it's crazy that you just connected it all to dopamine for real. Like I'm still, I'm sitting here trying to psycho evaluate myself, right? And I know the traumas in which it stems from. Like when you said abandonment, I already knew that. But then, yeah, connecting it to the dopamine, how I already spent the money, imagined what the profit from that trade was gonna do, you know, for my life that was life changing or get me somewhere. I spent it before it even, I spent the money before the trade even confirmed that it was a good entry.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have like things like perfectionism as well. People strive. People try so hard to make the perfect strategy. There is no perfect strategy. There's some strategies that are better than others, but ultimately you're going to lose with every strategy. There's going to be losing days. There's just strategies in which you prevent some losses and other strategies where you prevent others, but there's no way of escaping the losses. The losses are coming. And it's funny, people fear losing, but the people spend so much time scared of losing, and you suffer twice. You suffer the fear of losing, and then you suffer the actual loss itself. So now the fear of losing is just self-inflicted. It's not even real. You haven't even lost yet, but yet you're already suffering the loss of a loss that hasn't even come yet. How does that work? So then what that does, that makes people strive to perfect their trading strategies. People who have been spending 6, 7, 8 months back test this shit, ain't even trade nothing. They just too scared. They want to perfect it. And that stems from somewhere. Childhood. Likely childhood. Something made you want to feel like you have to perfect something in order to go at it. Greatest loser wins. The losses are what make you as a trader. Correct. The better you can handle losses, the better you'll just be off. The better off you'll be in trading. Before, I've talked about subconscious conditioning, how trading is 80 to 90% psychology and 10 to 20% strategy. You have your fear of failure, your low self-worth, people pleasing, seeking external validation in your trading. Lots of external validation. You don't take trades unless you see your favorite influencer or the trader you look up to take the trade. You only take the trades that you see your favorite influencer taking, simply because you don't want to feel like you're wrong for taking control of your trading career. And now you'd rather put it in the hands of someone else's. Then that also stems from dependency, codependency. You may have codependency issues that you've dealt with in the past that affects your ability to trade. You feel codependent on someone or something in order to trade. Impatience, instant gratification, premature entries, and excessive risk-taking. Then you have a lot of people who struggle with lack of boundaries, the inability to walk away after losses. And then you neglect self-care. The inability to walk away after losses. You can't accept losing today. You have to win. So now you're taking revenge trade after revenge trade after revenge trade. And then tying that to dopamine trading, you're crashing after every loss. Your dopamine levels is dropping below baseline after every loss. So now you have to feel like you have to go for the biggest win of all wins to make up for all the loss that you've made and to also receive the dopaminergic feedback of a high that's greater than the high from before, because you can't get the same high unless you go higher than your last high. It's wild how the dopamine system works. Like I've just spoke of, money trauma, fear-based money dynamics affecting risk and trading decisions. It all ties together, not ties together, but there's all a meaning to it. And it's your responsibility to take control of it, place awareness of it. You see, my job here is to really just help you, guide you to placing awareness to what affects you psychologically in trading, because there's something that affects it. There's something. And it's funny because people think the strategy is the answer. No, the issue I'm going through is a strategical issue. And though it may be sometimes, most times, it's just a psychological issue. I've said before, and I'll say it again, all strategies work. All of them work. Every big strategy works. So if it ain't working, likely it's not a strategical issue. It's a psychological issue, a risk issue. And even risk issues ties into psychological issues. You may be chasing that high, that dopaminergic high. So what that does is affect your risk. You're risking more than what you usually would, because you just want to feel the high of winning. You see somebody else winning. You see Cy winning. He's making millions every other week. And you're just like, damn, I want to feel that good. It must feel great to be that nigga. And you try and you fail. It's just sad. Okay, so the biggest thing I did was quit weed for this. I'm glad. I'm glad. I don't really have much to say about weed because I never traded while smoking weed. I've been weed free for about 8 months now. I would say it's better my trading. It's definitely improved my trading, because off of weed I used to be a slow dumb fuck who just used to just see shit, not really process it. My IQ just drops 50 points. I can't process shit for shit. So word. Camille said I quit meth for a better life. Proud of you, my boy. Proud of you. You gotta clap it up for that, nigga. Yeah,
Yeah, on God, like meth, that's a
yeah.
serious hell of a drug, bro.
Good shit. Yeah. But yes, I'm just here to really allow you to allow you to get deeper with yourself by placing awareness into the things that affect your ability to trade. The deeper you can get with yourself, the more clear, the more clarity you gain with your trading career. You may just be one psychological fix from your most optimal trading form. You might just be one psychological fix from your Super Saiyan 3 version of a trader. You feel me? Like you might just be right there. You might just be right there, but what's holding you back is your fear, your anxiety, your abandonment, your perfectionism, your money trauma. All of these things have an effect on your trading. And if you don't take care of that shit, that's just gonna be the end of you. It's gonna be the end of your trading career. Most people quit. Most people quit based on self-inflicted mistakes. People risk too much and they wonder why they keep blowing accounts. And then they quit after a while. They just quit trading. Whole time, that issue could have been fixed on your own. Lack of accountability. A lot of people like to blame the markets for their losses. It is you. And if you spent the time you had to spend getting your strategy right, you back tested your strategy time and time again. You've shown yourself, you've proved to yourself that your strategy works over a span of 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. And then you've traded your strategy. And then you go ahead to trade your strategy live and then you find yourself losing 9 times out of 10. It's just a psychological issue. Sorry to tell you, my boy. Now, if you're taking your trades, perf- perfectly based on your system, this is the whole point of the whole dopamine thing I was talking about. It's just rewiring your dopamine system to now receive those dopaminergic releases off of following your system instead of the profits, because following your system remains under your control and following the profits does not remain under your control. So I say that to say that if you structure yourself to have your winning days based on the days in which you followed your strategy perfectly, your execution was as flawless as possible, that's a winning day. If you ain't follow your execution, if you ain't execute as flawless as possible, that's a losing day. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You have five sets of criteria or five confirmations to have a certain bias, and then you execute off of that. If you don't follow all five, bro, that's a losing day, gang. It's just simply a losing day. Anything else, bro? I don't
Mm,
really got too much to say. I mean, I've gone through
for sure.
the
Yeah, no,
presentation for the most part. Just kind of just
just this last
heard
point
anything
that
kind
I
of want
had,
to talk about.
and just this last point that I had typed in the chat where I I know you and I and Zeke, we've had our conversations about stoicism. I remember in the past a lot. Um, and while I have not read on stoicism that much yet, I generally know what it means. And yes, this is being recorded. Um, but with this dopamine lesson, right? Dopamine is that feel good chemical. And just the understanding that feeling too good about anything is still leading to a downfall. It's leading to premature actions. It's leading to a negative outcome. Like,
That's not even morally speaking. That's biologically speaking. It's just what it is. That's just how we're built.
That's how we're
literally
built, right?
designed.
Hmm.
Go ahead.
Okay. And so then perhaps, well, so let me finish this and then perhaps you can draw these connections for me because the way that I'm internalizing this at this point is that we all know to be, try to be stoic about the vicissitudes or the hardships or, the struggles of life, misfortune, negative things. We all, that makes sense, dust your feet off, or like, uh, get back on your feet, dust yourself off, keep it pushing. That's straightforward. But then shouldn't we also be stoic about the positive as well, right? Like our making sure that we tame our desires in some way, shape, or form, making sure that we tame our expectations, making sure that we don't go off the other deep end of overindulgence or positivity, making sure that we're, you know, not not feeling too good, feeling too anything, but somehow trying to find a balance or a harmonious spot to dwell in so that we can execute the best we can. And then if that's the case, then where does the excitement come from? Do we have to make space, a very specific space and time for us to be novelty seeking, for us to be dopamine seeking? Or does life become rather mundane because now it feels like, doesn't feel exciting anymore? Like I don't really, you know what I'm saying? This is
To be
like kind of the
stoic,
thoughts in my
well,
head.
to be so the presumption about stoicism is just about not feeling anything, but the truth is it's not about not feeling anything. It's just not being rooted in the things that you are feeling. Now, if your identity becomes rooted in the wins that you're experiencing, or the feel goods, or like you said, just overindulgence, that's where your sense of identity becomes rooted in. That's where it becomes a problem for you because now you create a dependency. Stoicism teaches you to not be dependent on anything and to be self-dependent. You realize all the control you will ever have in your life is over yourself. Control over anything external of you, you will never have complete control over. You will just have influence over it. You can't control what, say, if you have a partner, you can't control everything your partner does. You can only have influence. But even then, that's not even control for real. That's just influence. But the only thing you will only ever have 100% control over is over you, your desires, your judgments, and your aversions. That's all you will ever have control over. So the better you can become rooted in that, the dichotomy of control, the better you can become rooted in that, the more easier and the more gracefully you can accept wins, excitements, pleasures that come from the outside because you realize I'm not attached to you. I'm just experiencing you. Stoicism allows for a life of detachment to where you're not attached to anything. So therefore, when you experience anything, you can untake it gracefully and let it go gracefully, knowing that even if I wanted to, I can't 100% control this thing. And that's okay. So while I have this thing, I'm going to enjoy it to the fullest extent. Stoicism teaches you that. That's basically the point of Stoicism. To not become rooted in the things that are outside of your control and to actually become rooted in what it actually is in your control. So yeah, that answers your question.
Sure it does. Makes sense though.
Have to master emotional resilience. Correct. We live in such a tempting world these days. It's easy to crash out. It's easy to crash out. It's easy to lose control. It's easy to blame others. Super easy to blame others. I ain't gonna lie. This shit could easily just this shit could easily become a whole conversation about philosophy. And then we gonna veer off of trading and just talk about life. Yes, emotional resilience is extremely important. It's one of the most important qualities that every man should develop. Because you have to know what you can be ran by and what you can't be ran by. And what you can be ran by is your logic, your rationale. What you can't be ran by is your emotions. the actions of others. I just recently posted a story on Instagram. I was just like, hatred. This is a bit off topic, but it's still related to the topic of psychology. Hatred, unforgiveness, holding grudges. It's a self-inflicted weapon because it's very costly to hate someone. You know how tiring it is to hate someone. You know how tiring it is to hold grudges. You know how tiring it is to be negative. It's very tiring. It costs a lot on your body. It takes a toll on you. You feel tired when you're just negative all day. You feel tired when you hate someone. You get sick. You get literally physically sick from doing shit like that. So I say that to say, out of self-respect, out of sake for respecting yourself, forgiveness, positivity is not for the sake of others, but for the sake of yourself. Because hatred only hurts you. So I guess to tie that into trading, the best way I could put it all together is the judgments you place on your trading. So if you lose a trade, if you end up losing or blowing account, negative self-talk ain't going to help you. Negative self-talk is only going to hurt you. So out of respect for yourself, why not? Because I would say develop some kind of positive self-talk after blowing account. All you can really say is, damn, I just blew my shit. But what I can say is, in any situation, trading, it doesn't matter. Anything in life, you will always have two options to where you can go to where you can respond to any situation. Any situation. There's two handles, one by which you can bear the situation, and two by which you can not bear the situation. You can either choose to make something work for you or work against you. You can either choose to view what happens to you as it happening to you or happening for you. You either make it bearable or unbearable. And there will always be that option. So out of respect for yourself, why not make every situation digestible and bearable for you to handle? Why make situations difficult for you to digest? Why does losing have to be so hard? Losing can really just be easy. I've been learning to ask myself, what is this teaching me after any situation? There we go. That's where you're able to develop. That's where you're able to develop your discernment. Romel, you may have something for discernment.
We would have to dive into a spiritual conversation a little bit at that point. Discernment.
Well, I could go ahead and do your thing. I gotta hit the bathroom anyways. I'll be back.
All right. Let me take a deep breath. Okay. Obviously, Rio has the knowledge and the substance of all of the books that he's read in his library. If y'all could see the library this man has in his room, it's like every book is read cover to cover. Where I come into play, I'm just say whatever comes out of my mouth. Pause. So anyway, um, on the topic of discernment and trying to figure out like what it is that needs to be learned, what it is that needs to be unlearned, and then more specifically, trying to figure out what is the lesson. And I think that's the hardest question because for most of us, we think the lesson is on the chart. We think the lesson is found in someone else. We think the lesson is just gonna drop in our lap. You know what I'm saying? Um, and that's not the case. You just asked so will definitely get people into a spiritual awakening type of journey? And the answer is yes. Because the motto or saying that I've stated often over these past few months lately has been that trader development is personal development. Personal development or self development is spiritual development. And that's the pathway by which a lot of your answers to your questions, to your whys, and to your whats get answered. So when you really get to the point to where, okay, I know what to do, and I'm tired of knowing what to do, and I want to know why I'm not doing it, that's where the answer is no longer on the chart. The answer is already within you, and you actually already know the answer to the question, but it's probably going to be rooted in something that you don't want to do. It's probably going to be rooted in something that you've already refused to do, either consciously or subconsciously in the past. It's going to be rooted in the fact that you've resolved within yourself that, oh, I really don't need to forgive my mom. It's going to be rooted in the fact that you resolved within yourself, oh, I'm in this situation because of what they did to me. And that happened 12 years ago, 8 years ago, 5 years ago, 27 years ago. But then you'll continue to allow yourself to perpetuate the narrative of being stuck at that place of that pain, at that place of that trauma. So then you could be 27 and you could still be cognitively and spiritually stuck at whatever age you were when you experienced that really life altering crippling trauma. There is a healthy dose of trauma that's necessary to build grit up in people so that they can achieve things, but there is a
I
crippling
agree.
side where it's like
Without no trauma, you don't have no reason to.
to strive.
Trauma gives you reasons. Trauma really gives you reasons. Without
Hmm.
trauma, you just won't have a reason to strive, like you said. Go ahead.
Exactly. And so then there's this dark side of trauma where this type of trauma is designed to stifle you, make you stumble to the point to where you believe that you can't get up. And that's tough to break yourself out of because now that's self-belief. That's self-fulfilling prophecy. That's you affirming within that you cannot do something, therefore you don't do it, can't do it. Opportunities won't come that will allow you to do it. It would be different if you were still getting knocked down, but you had heart. If you've watched boxing matches and you see someone who just they get knocked down over and over, but they got heart and then they come back and win, it would be different if you believed within, nah, I got this, nah, I got this, nah, I got this, nah, I got this. What do you think I had to have within to still be here standing as a trader for 10 years that I'm still struggling with consistency? Like, you know how many times I wanted to like not be here anymore? So I have heart. But the point is to get back on topic about this, what once you get to the point to where you're tired of knowing what to do and you want to know why you're not doing it, it's going to be rooted in something that you've already refused to do. It's going to be rooted in an instruction that was given by something, by an entity. It could be a parental figure, it could be a friend, it could be yourself, but it came through some medium and it was God, universe, source, whatever you want to call it, trying to tell you, hey, do this for the betterment and for the alignment of your life. And then you chose not to do it because you had naturally valid reasons as to why you shouldn't. But spiritually speaking, your reasons as to why you refused to do it, it wasn't valid. So because you were naturally offended, because you were naturally whatever the case was, now you don't want to do what spiritually you should do. And it wasn't until I experienced some spiritual breakthroughs, literally just this summer, right? We're on the tail end of summer now, that I'm a completely different person right now than I was a couple months ago. The person who I was a few months ago, even last year, there are people in this call who know I've tried to lead a group before and I crumbled under the pressure, deleted the whole Discord. I think I did that twice. Like I couldn't be who I knew I could be because I never did the work internally to become the person who could do this. That was already within me, but I had to go dig it out. And the only way that I did that was I had to experience being spiritually crushed, heartbroken, even, and all of these other spiritual loopholes and roller coasters that I went on. I had to forgive my mother for things that I held against her that she could have never done. I had to forgive my father for how he treated me, and he's been dead for 2 years. Like, then this is just the reality of it. And these things,
But you see how being unforgiving is just literally drinking poison,
it
expecting the
is.
other person to be hurt by it. Being unforgiving is literally a self-inflicted weapon.
Hmm.
Like you only affect yourself by being unforgiving. And forgiveness is a sign of self-respect. You're doing it for you, not for the other one. How can I say this? If I was talking to a woman, I'd be like, yo, ma, how could I not forgive you? As not forgiving you is only going to hurt me, and why would I hurt myself? Why
Mm.
would I? Why would I want to hurt myself? Being unforgiving is just almost, it's just self harm. Hatred towards hating something else, hating someone else is just hating yourself. Because when you hate something else, like I said, that's tiring, that's costly internally, because it's occupying so much bothersome inside of your temple. There's no peace when you hate something because the hate is just occupying your internal space. And that has a cost on you, especially if you hate something for a long period of time. So now it's like when you hate something, you only hate yourself because the vibration of hate literally is destruction. So even if you're carrying it and you're trying to direct it towards someone else, the fact that you have it in the first place and you're carrying it, you're only destructing yourself. But
Word.
I did want to tap into something
Tap
trading
in.
related that I spoke about before. Technical analysis on the chart is nowhere near as important as technical analysis on one's self. The mind and the clarity you bring to the field, to this trading field, is the number one most important thing needed to succeed. If you as a person are downtrending, then it's inevitable for your trading career to downtrend as well. Your personal trend and your career trend, they must be in alignment. They must be in alignment as a trader because that cultivates resilience, prudence, and internal stability, especially in this unstable market. You may have a technical strategy, good as fuck, a good as fuck, good as technical strategy. It's where it almost seems impossible to lose, but yet you still lose. And the reason why is because you've lost within. The market is only going to amplify what you believe about yourself, consciously or not. If you believe you aren't a winner, nor worthy of winning, your trading account will show you exactly that. It's wise to believe you're trading the market when what you're really trading is the most deepest and perhaps hidden beliefs about yourself, childhood trauma included. The point I'm trying to make is trading starts with the mind you bring to it. An uptrending mind leads to an uptrending life, which leads to an uptrending trading account. Contrarily, the same happens with a downtrending mind, and the effects trickle down contagiously. See, there's a very vastly immersive yet beautiful art within one's display of resilience. We spoke about emotional resilience. Specifically as a trader, it's the ability to return each day to the markets, not with arrogance, but with attention. Trading not merely to predict movement, but to withstand it. Understanding the market is a mirror, vast and extremely indifferent. Reflecting back not only your positions, but your patterns, your fear, your greed, your desire to be right. See, in this way, trading is not a battle against the market, but a confrontation with who you are within yourself.
Yeah. And then, from our conversations how what was it? Like this was just recent. How long has it been? How long has it been since we had the conversation about self-worth?
No, on here or like me and you?
Me and you.
It's been about a cool, I would say 5 months. I believe that was around Mayish. Yeah, May, April.
I thought we revisited it like 2 months, but anyway, but yeah, it's like that self-worth issue. How like I didn't know I had self-worth issues specifically. I knew how I viewed myself, but I also, I was also already like aware of, let's just call him my higher self, right? The highest form or version of me, right? Um, but then discovering that, man, I'm living in constant self-worth issues all day, all night, all week. Like, of of course things are not panning out for me. Of course I'm not winning anything because like I don't believe I'm worth this, worth that, worth time, effort, love, attention, prosperity, this, worth commitment, worth, all these other external things, right? Those are say like relationship type things, right? But now look at how that just spills over all of those negative externalities. That's an economic term.
Goes over to your career and
Yeah,
trading,
it spills
your
over onto the
relationships with
chart.
others.
So now I'm just on a chart and I'm trying to, I see a trade and I'm like, man, this one's too good to be true. Man, I really don't deserve. And so I'm getting
But you
ahead of
see how that
myself.
creates a feedback loop? My fault, real quick. You see how that creates a feedback loop to where you
Exactly.
originally had this self worth issue, and then you started to trade, and trading proved your self worth issue. So then it just became a negative reinforcing loop of, okay, I believe I ain't worth shit. Then when I trade, my trading results prove that I ain't worth shit. So I'm just not worth shit at all. I just ain't shit.
Right.
So then it's like, what do you think that does for you? Like, like how this is how people literally dive themselves deep into a rabbit hole that becomes super difficult to dig themselves out of because all you see is I ain't shit.
Hmm.
And then all that gets proven to you as a result is that you ain't shit.
Yeah.
As within, so without. It
And
started from within and then it became a without thing. When you have a desire or belief in something so strong, the external world will always follow. Always.
and
If you respect yourself, if your
wait.
desire for self respect is so strong, others are going to respect you. The market is going to respect you. Nigga, the
Mm,
external world is going to respect you if you respect yourself that hard.
yeah. And I wouldn't have come out of this at all on my own. Like at all. I would have spiraled my way quite literally, not to get morbid. I would have spiraled my way to death. Not trying to be figurative there. And I would not have come out of this on my own if I didn't have community. This is why community is so important because nothing really separates anybody from anybody. We're all human beings trying to like what does Zeke say? We all just on a floating rock paying bills. This shit is just this shit is depressing. Like so so with that stated, like if I hadn't relied on all of the community members, all of the encouragement, all of the you got this, all of the kudos, all of the help, all of the private conversations, I wouldn't have been able to pull myself out of that spiral that I put myself in. I wouldn't have been able to view my circumstance as, hey, Romel, you need to work on yourself because trading is actually doing more harm than good. It's it's affirming and confirming your negative self-belief that you aren't worthy of anything, not even your own efforts working out in your life. Then that triggered depression. Then depression over a long period of time. I mean, I have a couple suicide attempts under my belt. I'm not proud of that. So, without community, without like that's why I value the space that I tried to create, because it's not that I really was creating it for y'all. I was just trying to keep my life together. And that's just me being real. I was trying not to die. But then along the way I realized, oh, he's going through this, she's going through that. Oh, we're all in the same boat here. Like let's let's be happy together. Like, what I'm saying, let's support each other. And so I appreciate, those of you know who you are, and especially the greater community at large. I appreciate everybody who who tries to maintain sort of level of positivity, especially in the midst of like we don't know what's going on a day to day in your life. We don't know what you're actively struggling with on a micro level or on a macro level. What debate or internal dialogue or dissonance you're experiencing in your own lives, and for you to still be here and encourage somebody, that's great. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, it
You know
really
something,
runs
Sam?
so
Like,
deep. It
it's
runs way deep.
interesting because some people, it may be a few in here, some people are literally down to their last with trading.
Hmm.
Like, trading is damn near deciding their fate of their lives.
It was.
Like, if they, for me, it was you. Some people in here, if the trading failed, they're done. Like, trading is their last hope in life. And it's funny because what that reminds me is that, yo, when it comes to trading, take control over yourself. Take heed in yourself. Control you, because if you don't control you, them candles will. And if you let the candles drive you, you can't drive the candles, but it can drive you. And if you let the candles drive you, guess how it would drive you? Crazy. The candles will drive you crazy. You gonna rage quit out this motherfucker.
Mhm. Being able
And
to
so that's what I'm
have that
saying.
adult
Go ahead.
conversation within, like being able to have that adult conversation within to be like, yo, is this really for me? Like right now, like, is there something else I need to do? Like, and then accept that is very hard. I I should have did that 5 years ago. I'm 5 years late, but I did. So I started becoming a teacher. I said, let me prioritize teaching. I still trade here and there, but until I get me right and I undo the years worth of self-inflicted trauma that I've done on myself, like, I can only be so good. But I'm optimistic that it's not going to take that much time. I don't think that once you come into the knowledge of what to do and why, it takes that. I don't think the turnaround time is gonna be that bad. It's just like the market. We might need to consolidate for a long time, but then when you start to break out, you're breaking out and you're uptrending with a lot of momentum and speed to the upside. It is a uptrend on gold that just seems to never stop. So getting to that end, right? Everybody like has to experience that moment in life where you get liquidated, you get manipulated. What you thought was your solid rock bottom, was your solid support, psych. Like you kind of got to go through that in your own ways in life, and as well as in this trading career, this trading journey. And then from there, it might take some time for the market to prove that it has what it takes to break out of the resistances, the glass ceilings that are in your psyche that are in your spiritual health, that are in your communities, your social circles. Some of you guys have really, 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 really great friends and you love them to death, but what did they tell you? Hey, don't fuck up, man. Oh, hey, man, just remember what happened last time, bro. Don't do that. How many people do y'all have in your life that constantly remind you of who you were and the mistakes you made? And then what ends up happening? They mean you well, but now you're the ones left to constantly ruminate and deliberate and think about all of those past mistakes. And then what you think you manifest. And you're still stuck in a cycle because we have people who mean us well in our lives that are reminding us of the internal pressures that we face. Even when you did like there's been so many times where I've experienced that where like, man, I'm good. I got myself out the pit, out the rut. I'm ready to get started. And then boom, phone call. Boom, reminder. Boom, like, bro, I'm like, yo, can't you just let me like live, my nigga? Can't you just let me just, try to figure this out? Like, you never know how you never know how it's gonna come, is what I'm trying to say. And you never know who is gonna come through. Don't let it come through somebody who you actually want to prove wrong, right? Those are the worst. But even the people who are on your side, sometimes you just gotta shut them up. And you gotta like not isolate but go into solitude. There's a slight difference between those two words. Isolate is being alone totally. And isolation is a space of loneliness. Solitude is a space where you are with yourself but you don't feel alone. You aren't alone. Solitude
Right.
is where you are with God, with the presence of God, spiritually speaking.
I
Isolated
would
is,
say
in
solitude
my
is the
opinion.
classroom itself. Solitude is where you're in class and you're
Yeah,
just learning from yourself. You
exactly. Yeah.
learn from your psyche. You observe your thoughts. What is going on within? What is running me right now? What is causing me to make these impulsive decisions? What is causing this? What is causing that? This is where you really get to know who you are. People think they know themselves, and they just know themselves from a surface level perspective. The only time you truly get to know yourself is when you are at your most still and at your most silent, because you see what runs you at a base level. Who am I when no one's around? It's easy to be disciplined when someone's around. Uh it's easy to pursue virtue when someone's around. It's easy to be the good person when everyone's around. Sorry. When everyone's around, it's easy to be disciplined and the good person. But who are you when no one's around? Are you still that disciplined being? When no one's around, are you still good hearted? When no one's around, are you still as positive as you claim to be? Do you talk to yourself positive? See, that's where the reps really matter. That's where the time really matters, because that sets the tone for how you truly engage outside situations, external situations, situations where you aren't by yourself, instead where you're with others and or you're with the markets. Solitude is a very important quality for everybody, men and women. We live in such a noisy world. We have the noise of social media. We have the noise of, maybe a lot of us live in cities or something, and we have the noise, the outside auditory noise. We have the noise of our friends, family, partners, kids, people wanting something from you, people projecting this, that, the third onto you. There's all this noise in the outside world. So much noise. And I believe solitude is the avenue to which you build yourself to be able to better engage that, and also to maintain your own sense of virtue. How do you manage to be still and calm? I can recommend you a book that I've read, and it's called Letting Go: The Pathway to Surrender. Actually, let me see if I can find it. And The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. But to put it simple, the way in which I manage to be still and calm, presence, solitude, taking some time to literally just be there. It's funny because a lot of people, most of society, 90 to 95% of society just always wants to be on the move. There's not enough people just taking time to just be still. Fuck the goals. Fuck what I've been through. Fuck what's about to happen. Fuck the future. Fuck the past. Let's just focus on right now. Let me sit here right now and just be here. A lot of people can't seem to do that. A lot of people can't seem to be still with themselves because when they are, that's when their traumas come up. That's when their fears come up. That's when them voices that they run away from come up. That's when them thoughts that they run away from come up. Things that you haven't processed. The things that your subconscious be telling you, yo, I want you to, the things that your subconscious be screaming at you to fix. A lot of people can't be still because they're afraid of what their mind is going to present to them when they are. And it's funny because that's the breakthrough point. The part that we're most scared of, the most boring part that people like to claim. The boring part is just sitting still, that meditating. Just sit still and see what your mind comes up with. You might just sit still and your mind just might go, oh yeah, you ain't shit. Remember that. You ain't shit. Remember you lost that trade last night? Yeah, you ain't shit. You ain't finna figure nothing out. You ain't gonna make no bread off the markets. And to sit still through that and realize that you're the observer of the thought, you're not the thought itself. So therefore you can change the origin of that thought to where you can have better thoughts, and that helps you to engage trading better. You become a better trader. So I'm trying to tell you, man. Self-observance, self-improvement. This equates to improvement in the charts. Anytime you improve who you are at a deeper level, not no surface level shit, the deep work, the shadow work, the work that you avoid, that only evolves your sense of trading. You only get better at trading as you get better, as you deepen who you are. Because like I said, your trading is a reflection of who you are. That's why it's 90% psychology. Exactly. Exactly. You think a motherfucker who be suicidal is good is a profitable trader? Fuck no. And it's funny because humans are by nature gentle creatures. We're delicate. Like we can't handle much. We can, but as far as the rest of nature compared to us, the only edge we got is our brains. But physically speaking, we can't handle much. We're delicate creatures, right? Trying to make a living or trying to make something out of nothing in a ruthless field. The markets is ruthless, dog. The markets don't give a fuck about your loss, how much you lost. The markets do not care. You lose, you lose. You win, you win. So you have to be built for this. You can't just naturally be built for this. You have to have some level of, it has to be obligatory, mandatory to build, to mentally build yourself to be able to handle what comes with trading. You can't just naturally be like, okay, I just need the strategy and that's it. You got to be built for this shit because this shit get tough, gang. You got to be built for this shit. I ain't gonna lie. You got to be built to withstand losing $1,000 in a day, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 in a day. You got to be built for it because the markets ain't gonna care. The markets got no sympathy. The markets, it ain't none of that. So the better you can become resilient at this, the better life becomes. But you know the best way to build resilience is if you build resilience outside of the markets. Be mechanical. I always talk about, even what's his name? Dre, no. I trade like a bot, bruh. I trade like a bot. I see my setup, I take it. I don't discriminate setups. As soon as I see my setup, I take it. I don't care about nothing. None of the other noise. I don't care about who's taking what trade. I don't care if Romel taking the trade. I don't care. I don't care what Jerome Powell finna say on NFP FOMC meeting. I don't care about none of that. If I see my setup, I'm taking a setup. Because I've back tested my strategy enough to know, okay, over a span of 50 trades, I'm gonna win at least 25 of them. And according to Zeke's risk management strategy, if I'm going from 1 to 3 each trade and I lose 25 of my 50 trades, but I win the other 25, those 25 wins is going to be times 3 because I'm going from 1 to 3 on every single win. So it's going to even with a 50% win rate, I'm going to override all of my losses and win hella more. So now, therefore, the mind that I come through, the mind that I bring to trading is, okay, as soon as I see my setup, I'm going to take it with the flawless execution, and I'm going to do what I do best, executing. Execute my trade, I win. If I lose, I don't give a fuck. I know I'm going to win eventually, and my wins is going to override the losses. I have the confidence to know that that's going to be the case. But you know what it took to get there? It took time. It took a lot of mental conditioning because I used to experience a lot of fear, dog. I was one of them niggas who never took a trade because I was scared to lose. I had fear of failure. Why did I have fear of failure? Because I was always expected to win. I was always expected to win. There was always this notion placed on me. Oh, you're young, you're smart, you should be winning. Oh, I'm 21. I'm 21 right now. People believe I'm 30 something. And people believe I should be a millionaire right now, and I'm not. And that used to take a toll on me. That used to make me feel like I'm left behind. That used to make me feel like, damn, I ain't worth shit. I'm behind. You got 17-year-olds who's millionaires. You got Sai, who's only a year older than me. He up as hell. But I had to emotionally and mentally condition myself to see past that. Understanding that that's not serving me for the best. That's not serving me any good in my ability to trade. What is serving me my best good in my ability to trade is just to remain neutral in my trading. I don't care if I win and I don't care if I lose. At least today. What I do care about, though, is what the results is going to look like over a span of 20, 30, 40, 50 trades, because that's where the real edge shows. That's where the real compounding starts. Or not that it starts, but that's where the real compounding shows. How does working out or staying healthy go hand in hand with trading? When you work out, stay healthy. Now, let me talk about working out. With working out, this is how you build resilience. If you can do the harder workouts for longer enough, you'll build some resilience. You'll toughen up. So now, because think about it. Hold on. So focus on the future by always staying in the present moment. Let me go back to that. How does working out or staying healthy go hand in hand with trading? If you're working out, with working out, it requires a level of suffering, at least with weight training, or even any kind of training. If you work out hard enough with any kind of training, you're going to experience a level of suffering. And if you can build your resilience to suffering, it becomes easier to go through suffering. For example, if you run a mile, that shit gonna hurt if you're not the kind of person to run a mile ever. If you ran a mile, that shit gonna hurt. You're gonna feel that shit the next day. Even the act of running a mile is just difficult as a whole. But at least you'll have the confidence to know you can do something hard. You can get through an obstacle. The more you do that, you lift weights that you haven't been able to lift before. You're strengthening yourself. Now, what that does to your identity, you can identify as someone who is able to do hard things. You can overcome obstacles. You can overcome feats. Now, when you're faced with the obstacle of trading and having to learn how to trade and become a better trader, you'll have some level of confidence because you know, I've been through hard shit before. I know how to do hard shit. I've conquered hard shit many a times before. This shit ain't gonna be no different. You feel me? You feel me?
You got something to say, Ziggy?
You heard me though?
Yeah, yeah, I hear you, bro.
So cold showers should help. Also, I'm thinking, yeah. I mean, if it's allowing you to build resilience, then it's going to help you. You just need to strengthen your mind. Trading requires mental strength. It's not physical strength, obviously, because you're sitting down or doing whatever while you're trading. But mental strength is very hard because a lot of people are mentally weak nowadays. Mentally weak, super mentally weak. Why? Because we get instant gratification. Dopamine has hijacked us. We're chemically hijacked these days. A lot of us are running through autopilot. A lot of us live our lives with choosing the easy way out every single time. And when you're used to choosing the easy way out every single time, how the fuck do you think you're going to approach trading? When in trading, there's no certainty. You're always faced with uncertainty. There's no certainty in trading. Once you place that trade, all you can go by is based off probabilities, but ain't shit certain. So when you're at the mercy of uncertainty and all you've lived your life doing is choosing the easy way out, what you think you're going to do when you trade in? You're going to be choosing the easy way out. That's why you see a lot of people taking profits early. You see a lot of people not even taking trades. They're scared to take trades, trying to take the easy way out. They don't even want to risk. No risk, no reward. But word, I've been yapping for a minute. I believe I'm done now. I
But
hope
I
y'all
know,
enjoyed.
yeah, I know these kind of conversations, they can continue running, because it's just everything is so interconnected. I invited you, just Rich, up this. Do you have any words on the topic? I don't know if you just now chimed in, but how has like psychology and trading been for you? I can't hear you though. Let me see. I
Oh,
repl-
oh,
uh,
sorry about that, bro. Yeah, my bad.
uh,
Yeah,
no,
but
yeah,
yeah, man, I just got in here. I was listening to Real, bro. This is what I need right now, bro. I came to the right spot. Right now, I'm just here to listen and learn, because I gotta get my psychology in order. When it comes to, but I don't know, because I'm not struggling really with the trading. It's like I noticed that, because honestly, I've been to myself, especially when I've been getting deep into this trading. So I thought I got like my anger and everything in order, bro. I, that's what I need help with, bro. Just control, you know, because sometimes I be getting heated, and I don't even need to be get heating. It's not to do with trading, like mostly with these little trolls and shit like that. Like, but that's more of a personal issue. So it's like, but I know if I can work on that, that would even improve my trading even more. So I don't know. I know my situation is kind of different because I don't know. I come from a different type of world, you know. So
That might just
I
be a
don't know.
that might just be a
Right?
subconscious issue or a subconscious response. So it's like since that's how you've always responded to anything that triggered you, that triggered your anger, you've always responded with uh,
Head on,
level,
like head
a
on.
level, a level, yeah, head on, or with a level of lack of self control. If you've always responded to your sense of anger with lack of self control, that's how it's always going to be anytime it gets triggered. So even if trolls trigger, or even if whatever triggers that lack of self control, that anger, that's what you're going to respond with lack of self control. So therefore, since you know that that's what that is, now it's just awareness. The challenge becomes awareness. In the moment, once you feel yourself being angered, you have to be able to just observe it. Don't be succumbed by it. Don't get engulfed in it, but just observe it. Because you're not the person who's angry. You're just the awareness who's experiencing being angry. You're not the anger itself. You're just the witness of the anger who's experiencing it. So therefore, you have discernment over the anger. You just have to tap into that. And the way you tap into that is by observing it. It sounds difficult until you do it. In the heat of the moment, whenever you feel yourself getting angry, you have to understand why, and then becomes the what. What are you going to do about the fact that you're angry? Because it's one thing to be aware. Exactly. Experience the anger, don't be the anger. But now that you're angry, what are you going to do about the fact that you're angry? That's where you have to find coping mechanisms that help for you. And you have bad ones, you have good ones. Some people smoke weed because they're angry. Is
Yeah,
that
I'm
good
heavy
or
on
not?
the
I
weed.
don't know.
I'm heavy on the weed, bro. Like seriously, like it's like a coping mechanism I use. Like it keeps me calm in every friggin' situation. So,
Yeah, but that's a
but
coping. That's a codependency that
yeah,
you
I'm
develop.
dependent on it.
Something
Yeah, for sure,
that
100%. Sure,
that's something that's
100%.
that's something that's external of you. The best kinds of codependencies that you can develop is something that's within you, something that you can cultivate from within instead of depending on something that's outside of you to fix what you have. If you can find the tool that to fix you within, then that's when you start to realize all you ever need is you to get through any kind of obstacle. Can't shit affect you. You are the armor, nigga. You the weapon and the armor, and you the holder of the armor. You are the king. You feel me? Like you. How do I put this? I mean, bro, I don't.
Bro,
This
I
is
get
pretty
what
much.
you're
It's
saying because it's
pretty
like
much explanatory.
yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I get all of that, but it's like there's a part in me is like when I'm going through it, bro. Even let's just say I'm in the heat of the argument or whatever the case is, I know what's up, bro. And there's another part of me just saying, yo, just chill. But there's the other side of my brain that's saying, yo, fuck that, match this guy's energy. And then I always take that side, bro. It's like I just can't relax, bro. You know?
Yes, you could. You
Like
just
I
don't
could,
believe it.
yeah. I know I could do it, but it's just like I don't even want to entertain it, bro. That's what you know what I'm trying to say, like, bro. Fuck.
Yeah, and that's why I say that's definitely a subconscious response. It's something that's just become automatic without you thinking this is how you're gonna respond. Boom. You're just gonna blow up. Boom. It's a subconscious thing, and your subconscious runs 95% of your behavior on a day-to-day basis. 90% of the life that you live on a day-to-day basis is loops. The same loops you've been living yesterday, you live today. We live our life in loops. Nigga, certain thoughts we have is triggered by another loop, and then we get this. We operate on cues and triggers and actions.
Yes, it's true. Because
We live
I'm
our life
starting to
in
realizing
so.
the charts. Yeah, the charts is bringing out the old me that I thought that I suppressed. Because when I was younger, I used to realize that like what I thought was my strength was my biggest weakness, bro. Because it's like people can. I felt like people can control me because they know if they can do that, it's gonna set me off, and then my ass is gonna go back to jail or whatever the fucking case is. So it's just like, yo, I need to fix this because I'm smart enough to know what's going on, but it's like I keep walking into the trap. So eventually I was able to get out of that loophole. But now as a grown man, but then again, because I don't know, because I don't have confrontations in real
Because
life
your
with
level,
people. People don't play with me like and I'm also to myself. So it's just like, but this is just one thing I don't like about myself, bro. You know, and I've always been trying to fix it and make it better.
I feel one big issue that you are experiencing is the fact is the mental game that you do play in your head when you are entertaining energy that you shouldn't be entertaining. When you was talking about dealing with somebody who's getting you upset or whatever, and you responded with the fuck it, let me match this guy's energy. Instead of looking at it this way, why don't you look at it as as an act of respecting myself? I respect me. I know I'm a king.
Mm,
I'm gonna respect
mm,
me. I'm not gonna entertain nothing that you got because I know what you got. If I entertain it, that's gonna fuck up my peace.
mm,
That's gonna fuck up the calm waters I had just now before you came into the picture.
mm.
So instead of trying to match a motherfucker energy, remind yourself of who you are. Remind yourself of the temple that you've spent all this time cultivating and creating. You've cultivated this king energy. Protect that shit.
Yeah. You're right. You're right, bro. I just don't. For some reason, I don't think about that part. And then after the shit, I feel like you're right, bro. It's like everything I build up for.
Your level of restraint determines the quality of who you are as a man. A lot of manhood is built on restraint. Like, you have to restrain yourself from a lot because we live in an attempted world. Man or woman, don't matter. Restraint is a big part of just adulting. If you can't control yourself for shit, then it's like, bro, how can you get anywhere in life? You feel me? But first off, you have to remind yourself of what to control. And if you remind yourself, yo, I have all this to lose. I have my peace to lose. I have respect for myself to lose if I entertain this kind of energy. You start to remember, like, I bet this is important to me. My level of peace, is important to me. This allows me to bring the most clear mind to trading as possible. Protect it, bro. Like, we're protect it.
100%.
That goes to self-mastery. Where BQ Trey said it. It's mastering yourself is true power. It's where your best power remains, bro.
Yeah, that's all I'm about.
You would think that a display of power is trying to fight fire with fire from another motherfucker who don't even deserve your fire.
No, I know it's not.
Cultivating and redirecting that fire.
I
Understanding,
know
like,
it's
yo,
not.
this
I
fire is
invited real.
valuable.
At this point, I know it's a weakness, bro. I know it's my weakness. It's one of my biggest weaknesses, bro. I know it's not.
Invited Angel up. I'm curious to see what her perspective would be, hearing everything that has been stated. If she's able to unmute and talk.
Yeah, all right. I was waiting just for everyone to, fulfill their thoughts. And I'm sorry if like the noise because I'm in the car, but anyway, my whole thing about it is you can't reach. What was the word you guys used? Restraint. You can't reach restraint if you haven't mastered repression. So, damn, it's raining hard. So what I mean by that is, if you keep repressing this, it's going to keep surfacing. And I can tell by your dialogue, it's something that you repress. It's something you're not proud of. There's shame. So there is already a lack of acceptance. You can't operate your weaknesses as strength if you don't accept them. So that's why you can't have restraint if you're operating in repression. And it is raining so hard. So I don't know if y'all can hear me. Just let me know.
I hear you.
All right, then. Like, does that make sense?
You can master restraint.
Yeah, 100%. I'm listening for sure.
Which is a fact. I mean, it goes hand in hand with awareness, acceptance. Once you're aware of something, I mean, you're realizing that you're allowing it in to your temple. From there comes acceptance. From there, you realize, okay, this is where change is made. She is right, though.
Yeah, because so for me, I'm in your boat. I'm a very angry individual, but I said it in the comments as well. I said anger comes from. I said something about anger coming from a perspective of being uncomfortable with lack of control. So, like road rage, for an example, I can't move you out of my way, and you're doing dumb shit right now, so I'm mad. You get what I'm saying? So that's where it stems from. It's like you want an immediate different outcome than what's happening. So if it's an argument, you want that person to say what you want them to say, right? So now, because you have lost control in that, because you can never control what someone's going to say or what someone's going to do, your particular response is anger. Other people's responses is straight up sadness. And I actually come from that background as well. Before I got angry, I would cry for everything. Like my first response was to cry. In any confrontation, any discussion, any argument, like I would literally just start crying uncontrollably, like I had no idea why. And I had to realize it was because I felt like if I was to speak, I would be dismissed. So I had to learn how to get over that. Now, all I do is speak to the point where I have so much confidence in myself now that it has evolved almost in a sense to anger. So that's another thing. It's an evolutionary process. You're not going to just overnight be 100%. Like, this is evolutionary. Life
You
is to
know,
be experienced, not to be just completed. Because if it's completed, then you're just dead.
something else that also needs to be reminded on a consistent basis is what you have control over and what you don't. You don't have control over what people say, what people do. Anybody might do anything at any moment. You have no control over that. You don't have no control over that shit. So it's just like understanding that, or just anything external of you. I've said it before, I'm gonna say it again. Anything, all externals, you have no control over. What you do have control over is your desires, what you place weight on, what you don't place weight on, what you deem important to you, what you do not deem important to you, your desires, your aversions, and your judgments. So, therefore, should there be a situation where somebody pisses you off, you sit there and understand, okay, I can't control the fact that this person is trying to piss me off. What I can control is if I allow this to piss me off or not. And I'm sure you've gotten to that point. But even at that point, that's where the mind you've brought to it was, yo, fuck it. Let me prove this motherfucker wrong, or fuck it. He's fire. I'm even more of a stronger fire, so I'm gonna fight this fire with fire and try to put out the fire with fucking fire. And you feel me? So it just turns into a whole mess. But that's where I say self-respect comes into play. Respect yourself enough to be like, okay, I'm not going to allow this to cloud me right now. I'm not going to allow this to have power over me. You know how weak it is you know how weak it must feel to know that, damn, this motherfucker has the ability to bother me today. You know how weak that shit must feel? That must feel low
Exactly.
life as hell to know, damn, yo, this motherfucker could piss me off today. You think kings feel that way? You think Marcus Aurelius felt that way? He didn't feel that way. He already knew, yo, this motherfucker gonna try to piss me off. I'm not gonna let him. I'm not, cause I'm me. I'm a king. Like I'm me. I respect me that much. I respect me so much that I will never let you do that.
Yeah,
I
but that's
respect
the
myself so much that I can't hate you. You can't make me hate you. You can't, because I respect me. If I hate you, it's only gonna hurt me. It's only gonna bother me if I hate you. And I refuse to let myself be bothered. He who triggers you is your master. Facts.
Wow, I never heard that before. That's tough.
He who triggers you is your master. A lot of y'all niggas got hella masters. How many masters y'all got? I ain't gonna lie, I probably. Do I got I don't think I have a master. I truly believe I do not have a master. Yeah. New levels bring new devils. If you want to change, stop giving the devil the power to keep you in the same level. So,
I like that you had mentioned earlier. You had touched on it. You said a key word, and it triggered my recollection of how I was saying we face internal and external forces. Um, Share my screen real quick, and
you
how you
talking
were
about me or
saying
you talking
that,
about somebody else?
huh?
You talking about me or somebody else?
You.
Oh,
You had said very briefly, you was like, when you were talking to Rich, he was like, don't let the external whatever dictate something. And I remember that I gave this presentation, or I made this, and I had made this what do you call this? Maybe a flashcard saying that in life, in a general sense, we're going to face two types of pressures: external pressures and internal pressures. And that it seems as though the way that life has been designed is for external pressures to actually be in place to cultivate us, to grow us, to transform us from a natural version of ourselves to a more potent or rare or stronger or capable version of ourselves. How like olives are crushed and then we get olive oil. Coal crushed under so much pressure that in order to still survive, it cannot continue to persist as what it is, and it turns into diamond. Muscles under total failure, they grow. So external pressures, life, it's a great thing. It's a great thing to experience some type of external pressure. Okay. Things going on the job. For me, housing being in jeopardy. Like I've been homeless a few times, but it's like, these external pressures helped me become a better, stronger, more capable version of myself. The thing that screws us all up are the internal pressures that we place on ourselves, or the interpretation or how we have internalized external pressures. So these are going to be things such as impatience, self-doubt, anxiety, anger, and these are emotions that we'll experience, but they're rooted in other things such as a dishonor of time, or being mad that we're subject to time and we can't control and demand it to do anything. Being hesitant and putting too much weight on the experience and not enough on faith and the hope for your desires, right? Anxiety. This being rooted in fear, lack of trust, being rooted in control of future outcomes. Here, you don't know that you need to respond and you continue to react to life, right? You don't take out enough time to stop reacting to things or whatever. You have too much expectation. Anger leads to frustration, which is just anger over time, right? And so the point that I was trying to make, I'll bypass a couple of the points in here, was that at the end of the day, Rich, every action that we take stems from an emotional spectrum. And there's only two emotions on which, or two, I guess you could call them like states of being per se, that we take actions out of in life: love and fear. And so words such as peace, joy, compassion, happiness, tranquility, purpose, maybe, because people could have evil purposes, who knows? But inspiration, motivation, selflessness, gratitude, these are all positive words that err on the side of love. And then we have things that err on the side of negativity and fear, such as lack, failure, doubt, rebellion, disobedience, stubbornness, selfishness, sabotage, impatience, or being ungrateful. All of these different things. And then there might be some neutral words. Instincts. Some instincts could be positive, some could be negative. Purpose can be rooted in positivity or in negativity. Unrealistic expectations. This is my most favorite one to argue about, because you need to have some level of crazy faith and unrealistic expectations to believe you can do something extraordinary. But then it could be too much to the point to where you're not living in reality, and then it can become something that leads to a negative outcome. There needs to be a healthy level of stubbornness to say, hey, I'll just use myself. My name is Romel, and Romel is going to do this the way that Romel wants to do it, because Romel believes that this is the best way that I need to do it, because it allows me to dwell here. If I'm not stubborn enough to make my choices be my choices, then I will start living out of this place. And then so in this area, it's a neutral area. But here's the point. Out of these emotions or these states of being, we take action. So I used gratitude here. Over here on the side of fear, a lack of gratitude leads to the immediate action of complaining or being unappreciative in life. That will lead to frustration. And and this will lead to impulsiveness, irrational decisions, and overtrading, right? For example, then all the culmination of living in this leads to anger, which is frustration over time. Biblically speaking, anger leads to murder. And you can kill not only people, but you can kill dreams, goals, relationships, other people's dreams, etc. Right? And then down the line, you don't end up in a place of failure, you end up in a place of damnation. There's a difference. On the up here, we see that failure and success go hand in hand. Failure leads to success. You need total failure for muscles to grow. Failure is not what we're afraid of. What we're afraid of, and this is my spiritual perspective, is that we are we are we actually have a natural fear of damnation, doom, despair, a sunken place or a bottomless pit, because this is the devil's fate. And we're naturally born in sin. We're born sinners, so we have a natural inclination to be fearful of this, not failure itself. Anyway, so with that being said, you end up not in a place of failure specifically, but a place of total destruction, a hell on earth, where there's no amount of work that you can do to deliver yourself out of this place, and you need a rescue team. This has been me. Like, this is why I said earlier, I'm so grateful for a community, because I could not have pulled this. I could not have pulled myself out of what I was in, because I lived on this side of the spectrum. On the opposite side, say if you operated, and this is a choice here, you choose to be grateful, you choose to have gratitude. Your immediate response or action is going to be being thankful and showing appreciation. Peace. That'll lead to a peace, some type of contentment. It'll lead to peace, not frustration. And this will be displayed as self-control, patience, the acceptance of outcomes, discipline, knowing that everything will be as it should, win or lose. Then joy is choosing peace over a period of time. Joy leads to birth, growth, the development of peoples and their dreams, goals, and etc. And that has to be true if it's the opposite. Over here, this leads to murder. Over here, this leads to birth and inspiration. And so down the line, like inspiration, we all know, oh, he inspired me. Oh, she's such an inspiration. That's to wake up or to birth or to bring to life something that's dormant inside of somebody. What we're doing right now should be inspiring you, right? And so down the line, instead of being in hell, literally or figuratively, you end up being victorious, a conqueror, an architect. Listen to the power behind these words. A creator, a builder. You end up in salvation, paradise, your dreams fulfilled, your goals met, your life lived. You have the ability to deliver other people out of their catastrophes. You become the rescue team. You're not in need of a rescue team anymore. You become more than capable to serve people and change the world through inspiration, right? And so this is just a long sort of, that's how I interpreted those two things, and it goes deeper. Since I'm talking to it, let me culminate it really quickly. What you don't want to do is do nothing. You don't want to be aware about your situation and do nothing. This is worse than actually operating out of fear. It would be better if you lived in fear, because at least you're moving somewhere. If you turn left 3 times, you'll end up facing right. At least make enough wrong decisions until you make a right decision. Doing nothing is stagnant and there's no progress being made. So with this understanding, some of us are Christian, some of us are not, but what I'll say in a general sense, let's just say, if you don't think you're better than God and God doesn't condemn you, then why do you condemn yourself? You shouldn't do that,
I'm sorry,
right?
real quick. I
Uh-huh.
just want to say, appreciate y'all for having me. I'm about to get up out of here. Got life to attend to.
For sure.
Appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'll catch you on the next psychology talk. And
Yo, respect. Hey, Rio, thanks for that insight, bro.
for sure, if anybody ever got questions or anything, just send me a friend request, send me a message. I'm always available for sure whenever I got time to answer. But keep tabs on yourself. If there's nothing that you have listened to during this 2 hour stretch, keep tabs on yourself. Awareness on self is the first step. From there, you're able to make some change. Psychology is very important. Who you are outside of the markets is going to be who you will be in the charts. Remember that. With that said, though, have a good one, y'all. Have a good evening, morning, night, wherever you all in the world, and I'll catch you on the next one for sure.
For sure, Rio. Thank you. And then
Romel,
so,
before you go too far, but hold on one second,
yeah,
because
what's up?
I need you to break something down to me. When
All
you
right.
say fear, I'm living in fear, or I'm fear of something. What do you mean by that? What fear? I don't get that for some weird reason.
Fear
You know?
just on the sense that it is the antithesis or the opposite of love. That so let's just think of it like this: positive versus negative.
Okay, I see what you're doing.
Yeah. And so to culminate this, you just don't want to be stagnant, okay? And at the end of this is where the spiritual aspect comes along, and this is going to lead into what my personal answer to your problem is. When I made this, I made it backwards. So first thing I wrote down was success. I'm like, this is what we all want. We all want success, prosperity, paradise, dreams fulfilled, success. In order to get this, we need to take actions. We create anxiety in our lives because we don't know if the actions that we're taking are good actions or bad actions. So now, how do we get rid of that? We have to operate under this thing called grace. The grace to do it the right way, the grace to do it the wrong way. Grace is basically God, universe, source, whatever, giving us things that we do not deserve, right? So when we mess up, it's okay. When we do it right, it's okay. It's neutral. It gives us the freedom to act without retribution, fear of retribution. That's what grace does, in a way. Then, but in order to have grace, we have to believe in the framework by which we get grace. Human beings don't give grace by nature that much. We're pretty ruthless animals. Okay. The framework by which we give grace is through faith. But faith in what? Faith in the words that we hear, the words that we read, the words that we internalize, right? And in this inspiration as well, we know that we use our breath to inspire people all the time, right? Um, so I like this inspiration definition that we already know it means the process of being mentally stimulated to do or feel something, right? But secondary definition means the drawing in of breath or to inhale. So the word says that faith come by hearing and hearing by the word, and the words are the words that God has said. And then I would say out of love in this spectrum, we can say God is love, but I can't fully say that love is God because we can have a love for a lot of other things. So this seems like the most holistic pathway to success from my perspective. And just like how the reason why I make this connection back to God is because if we know how to inspire people, we do it all the time. God inspired us. Imagine, imagine God like breathing his breath into like man, right? Once upon a time, it was just a human being, or no, it was a human with no being, because you can be a human corpse. You can be a dead human, but now you're a human with being. God put his being inside of you, right? And then you became a living soul. There's multiple parts of you, like how PJ said earlier. We're trying mind, body, and soul. This is your soul right here. Okay. So anyway, God inspiring us. The opposite of this is this. So any and everything but God, the devil, or anything, I should have put fear here, is supposed to give you words that don't inspire, but instead they sabotage. They try to kill things. Then those words lead to doubt, not faith. And then that doubt leads to condemnation, not grace. So then you don't take any action towards success. Instead, you get to a place of inaction, lazy, stagnant, stricken with fear to the point to where you do nothing. And then you end up in a place of despair and doom and damnation. And so now we get to my answer for you. You got to get in alignment. You have to understand that this is the flow by which you live. Right now, like PJ said, he was like, here, I'll go read his comment. I posted it right here. We are a triune entity, spirit, soul, body. The soul has the intelligence, the emotions, and the will, but the only thing we can see is the body. So there's about 2 out of the 3 versions of ourselves or parts of ourselves that we don't really know. And the one we all know is the body. And it's the one that decays the fastest. The soul is everlasting. And so it gets to a point where we have to understand that we got to get this in order. We spend a lot of time feeling, a lot of time thinking, a lot of time being in this space, and we try the natural order that we try to do. We try to get our soul to prosper by fixing how our body does. Like we lead with our body. And then whatever our body does, feels, thinks, react, we allow our mind to fall subject to it, and then our soul falls subject to our mind that falls subject to our body, when I think it should be the other way. We need to kill this. We need to put this in its proper place so we can subject our natural reactions, our emotional responses, our anger issues, our all this stuff. We can subject that to our mind, and that being subject to our soul, and our soul being subject to God or the light, whatever it is. And so with this alignment, how do we do this? And the answer that I would say, the easiest way to kill your anger, then the easiest way to kill everything that's holding you back, in my opinion, would be to go on a fast. To go on a fast, to not eat food, to go on a fast in a lot of other ways as well. Like whatever way that you indulge and feed your flesh, feed your body. Like, okay, for example, Bet. Let's go ahead and let's do a quick experiment. When you get angry, what's the first thing you crave after you're angry? Just Rich. Are you still there?
Backwood. Yeah, I'm here. Backwood.
A backwood. Okay, so then boom, there it is.
Nah, the backwood is what's keeping everyone safe, I think, bro.
No, it's not. No, it's not. You have to go through a whole freaking you got a journey and a half to go through. You have to fast from the thing that you run to that encourages you to continue living in the root of your anger. And like Sense just typed, that's the repression. You run to the backwood because you're like, fuck this, fuck them, and fuck the world. And then that calms you down, but you have not dug up the root of none of the anger issues. So you're going to continue living with it. And now you're in a negative feedback loop, right? Anger, cope. Anger, coping mechanism. Anger, coping mechanism, right? And so you have to fast this one out. Even Adam, for those of you guys who know the Adam and Eve story, he was only ever told not to do one thing, and that was to not eat of the tree, which meant that by design, even the most perfect beings on the face of this planet were supposed to live a fasted lifestyle from one thing. We all have one particular area, one particular thing that we need to fast from. I know people who says, theirs are backwoods and cigars. I know other people who says it's actually alcohol. Some other people say it's, whatever it is. Some might be like lust and, it could be more abstract things. It could be more physical things, TV or social media, whatever it is. But we have something somewhere that allows us to stay as we are. And that can't happen because we need to self-improve. And we need to self-improve because we're all trying to be good traders. So it's not until you take out the time to be about your spiritual development and be about your spiritual business that you then develop personally, and you go through the self-development that then leads you to the prosperity that you're seeking as a trader. Right? And so for you got to fast. Food is a general thing that can help all of us understand the importance of fasting, right? It's quite crazy for those of you guys who know the health science. Isn't it quite fascinating and quite crazy that even just fasting has been proven, like intermittent fasting or fasting after a certain amount of days or hours has been proven to regenerate and heal the body? What do you think a spiritual fast is going to do? From that one thing that's holding you down spiritually, it's going to heal you.
Yeah, I get it.
So,
Yeah, it makes sense.
so that thing that you run to, once you're angry, for you, it's a backwood, you got to put it down.
And just deal with it and learn to deal with it. That's what you're
Now,
saying.
so now here's the second component to it, because you can fast pointlessly. It's not just putting it down and dealing with it and experiencing being angry. It's putting it down and being actively prayerful and conscious about why you're making this decision. It's you have to couple it with prayer. You have to couple it with how you choose your spiritual life to believe. You believe in God or whatever the case is. Christian, who knows? I don't know. But you have to pray to and fast with intention. Putting it down is not just good enough. You have to put it down deliberately and then pray for the reason that you put it down to be removed. And then once it's removed, now you have to do the work to ask and receive and to replace what you just put out, which is the anger. You have to give the anger away, but then now you have an empty hole, you have a void. You have to fill it with something. What do you think you fill it with? The opposite of anger, which would be, I don't know, peace or love or something positive has to come back and fill it. Because if you don't do that, then now that anger will come back. That anger will come back like a ex who's trying to circle back in your life. Like you already said no, and now but they'll just try to come back over and over. They'll keep knocking, right? And you don't want that. So you have to put it down, fast from it, go through the withdrawal. It's not going to feel good, right? You're going to rehab. Then you have to pray for the purpose by which you are fasting for that to be resolved. Then you have to ask God, Holy Spirit, whatever it is, you got to ask God to come and give the right peace, alignment, comfort, positive, the love, fill it with love and all that kind of stuff. And you may not get it right the first time around. It's hard. It's easier said than done. But as long as you continue on that journey, watch your entire life turn around, not just trading. Because guess what? How you handle people, I bet you that outside of trading, everything that you want out of life is on the other side of you dealing with this. And I think that it would be your anger issue that would be the very thing that holds you back from making the connections and the impact that you need to make in life while you were born. For me, one of those things, mine wasn't anger, but I'll tell you what mine was specifically. I get offended easily, very easy. I got offended yesterday, being told, "Oh, you're gonna get kicked from the group for this and that." Like I get offended easy. And when I think back to all of the major traumatic circumstances that I've experienced, it was because I was offended by something that someone did or something that someone said. And I was valid in my offense, so I carried it. I made the choice to remain offended. It wasn't until I let go and made conscious everyday choices to not live in being offended that my life got better. So that's not exactly the same as yours. You have an anger issue. Someone else is going to have a different issue. Someone else is going to have something. Mine was offense. And so how did I get that under subjection? I had to fast, right? What did I fast from? When I get offended, I isolate. So I forced myself to not isolate. So it's quite kind of weird, right? So the way that I broke that cycle was forcing myself to find community or to at least remain attached to communities or people. So that way I didn't do what I naturally like to go do, which is isolate. Just like Angel said earlier, she had said in the chat, I read it. She was like, sometimes people like to feel bad. I was one of those people. So I liked the feeling of isolation so much to the point to where I would do so. And I had to fast from isolation. And that's a very twisted backwards perspective because it seems like I'm doing the opposite. It seems like I'm actually indulging. No, I'm fasting. And so by remaining a part of the communities, it led to more opportunities for me to get offended. I got offended by Sai, Some people know that story. I got offended by people within the trading community. I got offended by people within my Christian, like young adults community. I got offended by people in my roller skating community. I get offended every single day. Even still, I got offended yesterday. I get offended every day. I get offended when people question me. You know what I'm saying? It's something that I'm dealing with still actively. But I don't remove myself from the opportunity or the temptation or the opportunity to be offended, because how will I know if I've matured? How will I know if I've grown if I'm not still a part of community, if I'm not still around people? So yes, you have to put down the backwood. You got to put down the escapism from reality, right? You have to continue to remain within the communities where you get offended, and then make the active choice to not offended, to remain in the communities where you experience the anger. Choose not to be angry. Pray before you join the discourse. Yo, God help me. Woo wapti woo. I know what I'm doing. I know somebody's gonna say something to piss me off, and I know it's a part of the process. Help me not be angry. Okay, like take this. Like You know what? As a matter of fact, I give you my anger. That's a powerful statement to make. Universe, source, blah blah blah, God, whatever. I don't know. There's people from all different demographics here. I give you my anger. I give it up. I relinquish it. You have it. I don't want it no more. Once you get to that point to where you stop identifying with the anger, then that demon, this is where, like I studied demonology. I've seen from this Christian perspective, right? But that's where that demon, this is why these kind come out through prayer and fasting. That demon now has no legal jurisdiction to use your body as a host, because you have stopped identifying as it. You have fallen out of covenant and out of agreement and out of alignment with the anger. So now it has no legal jurisdiction to continue to stay and hold on to you, right? And so now you start to reach this level of like, okay, he's going to be like, how long can I hold out? How long is he really going to keep praying and fasting? How long is he really going to keep putting the backwood down? And it's going to try to hold on for as long as it can. At that point, you just got to rebuke it, and you'll feel it, and you'll get the confirmation that you got it when you wake up one day and somebody says something in the Discord call that would have angered you, and you're like, I'm doing quite fine, right? And so, yeah, that's the big long answer. Fast from the backwoods, but now there's another level of work that has to be done under that. Let me see. So yeah, let me see. PJ wants to speak. I like PJ. I sent you an invite to talk. I don't know if you know how to accept it, but anyway. So now those are my answers. Those must be my answers. I have a duty and a mandate to point everybody to God, even if you choose to walk that way or not, because God told me that if I'm going to give people the ability to create wealth, then I need to definitely help lead them and guide them on the road to Him. And if I don't, their blood will be on my hands. I can't give you the ability to create wealth knowing that money is just water, and whatever you water is going to grow. And if you're a bad person, you will become a worse person. If you have all of these unforgiveness and all these negative characteristics, internal characteristics, and identities within you, then that money that you gain is just going to grow and cultivate something that is going to be a danger and a peril to the world. Do you really think that you deserve to reach trading prosperity and you treat your kids wrong? You manipulate them and sabotage them and provoke them to anger. You don't listen to them when they try to reach out to you for help because you're their mama, you're their father. You really think that you deserve prosperity when you haven't forgiven your mom, your dad, your grandma, your auntie, your friend, your cousin for something that they did. And so what? You can just have money and tout it in their face. Like for real. Like let's be real for real. So get your life right by getting your spirit right and then experience these trading gains. But anyway, that's enough. That's enough from me. Do you have anything that you want to talk toward or talk about, Blue? I know I invited you up here. You're like my protege. Oh, there's PJ. Let me unserver mute you.
I'm good, bro. You pretty much said everything. But I do want to say that I did have like I guess, yeah, I did have a dependency on smoking. I used to smoke so much that I'd probably spend close to 1,000, maybe 1,200 a month on smoking. And when I took on this trading journey, there was a lot of things that I wasn't dealing with that I knew I had to deal with. But because it kind of shows you, the charts show you what you need to deal with, and because I wanted to commit to this, I kind of told myself that I have to fully commit, meaning that I have to let go of bad habits. One, because I don't want to depend on something like that. And two, because I need the money to be able to trade. So I have been sober for about 6 to 7 months. And ever since then, bro, it's everything has changed for me. As far as the way that I think, the way that I handle and execute shit, it's just way better. So, but the thing is, I used to depend on that shit. So I understand where Rich is coming from. Like, bro, as soon as I got mad or upset or something didn't go my way, we were smoking like a lot, bro. But the moment that I kind of committed to myself and committed to my development and just the change and becoming the new me, that's when shit started changing for real. I still struggle with, as far as like the basic emotions, right? But the thing is, that's how it's going to be the rest of your life. I think you just have to pretty much acknowledge it and work towards it every day and just do the best you can do. That's it. But definitely commit to yourself. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, respect for that, bro. Respect. I'm gonna take all this great advice in, bro. Trust me, you guys giving me some good ideas right now. And it's kind of obvious what you guys are pointing out. Makes so much sense.
PJ, what's your contribution to this discussion?
Yeah, can you guys hear me well?
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm at work, so I was driving, so that's why I couldn't get it when you send the invite. So first of all, I want to say thank you, man, for doing this because sometimes you're talking about trading and it's just trading, and you get this, the correction, you get the indication and the continuation, but this one, it's a lot deeper, and he goes into seeing really how much you've put into this work, like helping people forth, right? And I truly appreciate that. And the gentleman was doing the psychology, like brilliant, right? So the one thing I wanted to say is that when it comes to trading doesn't really make you. Trading really expose who you are. I remember my wife used to say that I'm very impulsive. And, I've been married with my wife for a long time. We've known each other since we were in high school, like over 20 some years. And my wife would say I'm impulsive, and I would always say no. But, when you look back into some of the tradings that I've made, I would say all of them, it's all with like I'm so impulsive taking the trades, and I'm like, well, why did I blow this account? Why did I do this? Why did I revenge trading? Why did I do all these things? And it was only because, like the gentleman mentioned, like sometimes you're trying to pay your bills and you feel like this is the money you need now. This is not the money you need later on. This is money you need now, and that's why they say in investment, only invest what you think you can lose. Don't invest anything else. Rent money, food and stuff like that. Don't do it because it will make you make bad decision. Because your eyes could always see something on a chart. The chart, anybody could look at a chart and make it show you something that you want to see. That doesn't mean that's what it is really. So that's the one thing in trading. But the part that I just wanted to bring is my man right there going through this. Like we all are going through something, right? We all are going through like I would say a thorn on the flesh, so to speak. And the one important thing that I wanted to let you know, Romel, but just by listening to the way you are talking and like your wisdom and the things that you're explaining, and you probably already know it because I could see that you're deeply rooted in spiritual things. Is that today you have given our brother a very, 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 I'd say a step by step, so to speak, how to get freedom, at least to get to that path. So the only thing I wanted to say, and I know you probably know it already, is to be careful. When I say careful, cover yourself because you have exposed some stuff that's keeping our brother like down in what he wants to achieve, and you have basically laid out like a plan. I mean, this is more than a trading plan. You have shown him basically how in life, even though you're going like low, you're going high and low, you are basically giving him a path where like he could get high, like you're saying, like on the gold right now, who doesn't even do a retracement, just keep on going high. Because the thing that you mentioned, and it's so important, is that the thing that we are going through a lot of times, these are the things that keep us from seeing really the other side, which is where we really want to go, what we want to achieve. And a lot of times, until we get to that point, until we pass that test or that class, we may not get really to the destination where we wish to have or we wish to be, because for God to trust us with certain things, he needs to know that we are able to manage that thing. So that's why sometimes even before you ask for a blessing, you need to ask God for a way to be able to handle these blessings. Like we've seen a lot of people in this world, like, very notable people, like, celebrities and people in government everywhere, like, famous people. They've lost everything they've gotten, not because they couldn't handle it. They have the skills, the knowledge, but it's because from a spiritual standpoint, they were not where they were supposed to be. So they have gotten a blessing which didn't really match their anointing or lack thereof. So then all of a sudden they couldn't really manage it and they've lost everything. And sometimes we don't get some things because God could see that we are not there yet spiritually, to get it. So what I would say for you, my brother, is to like, be careful, because I know you've given a lot of wisdom, but also to cover yourself, because, now the enemy is not happy, because now it's like, damn, Romel has, you know, has said some stuff here, man, that if this brother listened, he could get to the light. He could get to where he needs to be, because that very thing that kept him, now somebody has exposed that and say, certain things to do. And I also want to thank the brother who's listening, because, sometimes when you say you're going through something and people are listening and you are opening up yourself like this, so vulnerable, is a grace also. And you're taking it with stride, because, you are showing poise, you are showing like you're listening to it and all that. So my thing for you is that you could take some of these things that you've heard today and then you could put them into action. Because a lot of time, we have those kind of ears, like, we can't hear it now. It sounds good. And then right after that, you're going to be tested. So don't be surprised that you, my brother, you get tested to see what's going on if you take anything. And Romel, don't be surprised if you start having some bad dream tonight, or maybe something kind of things coming your way as an attack. So I'm just saying this. I'm not prophesying anything. I don't think that's what I'm doing at all. But I'm just saying, like, on terms of spiritual understanding, like, those kind of things. That's all I wanted to say and share with y'all today. But great 2 hours.
And I appreciate those reminders, because yeah, like, and we see here, he just posted here in the chat, Mark 4 verse 15. It says, "And these are they by the wayside, where the word is sown. But when they have heard, Satan cometh immediately and taketh away the word that was sown in their hearts." So making sure that, like, you heard what you needed to hear. Fortunately for you, it's also recorded if you ever forget. But it you know watch, and it's good to have a warning to couple with this. Watch something happen. Someone say something or something that tries to get you to completely disregard and or forget or do away with all of the good that you heard just now. And when it happens, you'll message me and you'll be like, "Dang, Romel, that's crazy. You won't believe what happened. Such this and this happened. Such and such said this, and I'm glad that I had this in mind because that would have totally threw me off course." It happens all the time. I tell that warning to people like when I finally invite them out to church or they go to church or whatever, blah blah blah, and I was like, "Okay, now know that there's gonna be something that happens in the church that's going to offend you and try to discourage you or get you to the point where you never want to come back or be a part of a Christian community ever again." And so when I warned them, they'd be like, "Oh, Romel, you won't believe like exactly what you said happened. This lady said this and what woo," and I'm like, it's not her. It's just the enemy. The it's the other opposing spiritual forces. And then for me, this is a great reminder to understand that like, yeah, pouring out is one thing, and then making sure that I guard myself spiritually, guard myself and all that kind of stuff is going to be important because I need to luckily I have a good crew and I got great support. Um and I definitely rely on them. There's so many private conversations that I have behind the scenes. Um there's so many private conversations that I have behind the scenes that, I mean, in order to cultivate a community like this, to orchestrate something like this, networking and all collaborations and whatnot, I have to have support. And so I'll be remaining prayerful and all that kind of stuff. Feels, you want to say something? What do you want to say, sir? This is a walking radio. I sent you an invite to speak. I don't know how you can accept it, but yeah. But I know we are wrapping it up pretty soon. Hey,
Test,
Fields, how you
test.
doing? I,
Test. Hello.
yep.
There we go. I can hear you now. Thank you.
Oh,
I was having audio troubles before. I couldn't hear because for some reason, whenever I join one of these types of voice channels, it I can only hear people when I become a speaker and turn my webcam on and off to enable the speakerphone mode. It's strange.
for sure. Did you have something that you wanted to contribute here as we wrap things up?
The main topic was what?
The main topic in the general sense was psychology. We did touch extensively on dopamine and the traps that dopamine can set before us as traders. I.e., for example, counting the money before we ever even get a confirmed setup. You enter too early, yada, yada, yada. And feeling too good about it. That branched into stoicism and how the stoicism understanding is that we need to remain detached so that we experience, say, things such as anger, but we don't identify as anger. We just are an observant of the anger. That we don't, that understanding that too much of anything can be poisonous. We were, like feeling too good and about that dopamine, it's the pleasure chemical, how that leads to
Indeed, yes, and
uh,
I
yeah,
mhm.
and then that culminated into a big
Yeah,
spiritual
I
conversation.
feel that yeah, I love what you said there about the detachment thing because I feel a lot of the difference between a lot of traders, successful traders and not successful traders, especially with prop firms or even live accounts, I suppose, but is just it's just taking that time to learn how to detach yourself from applying a label, an identity, an emotion to the money in your account. If you're sweating about busting your account, then you're investing more than you can afford to lose, and that's risk management 101. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose, otherwise you're going to be anxious during every trade. That's going to leak into your execution and affect your strategy. Right? Do you concur?
Right. So yeah.
Exactly. So for that stoic frame that you're talking about, it's to treat the markets as they are, not as you wish them to be. You control only your preparation, your discipline, and execution, and never the outcome of a single trade. So you've just got to accept those losses as tuition rather than tragedy, right? And the wins as confirmation of the process, not proof of invincibility, like the overconfidence that you're talking about. You just got to detach from that noise, avoid the vanity of prediction, and anchor yourself in the probabilities, the risk limits, and patience. Like Epictetus said, suffering comes not from events, but from our judgments of them. So your edge is emotional clarity, the ability to stay steady when others are ruled by fear or greed.
Yeah, I like what you just said. Your edge is emotional clarity.
Blue, yes. Oh, yeah. And silver.
Silver.
No,
Okay,
like,
yeah, we're gonna
I'm
table
not
that
so
right
talking
there.
about silver. This is
You
not.
know,
Yeah, this is not the time or place to talk about silver blue, but I will, after this, I will be happy to go on about it because I did just post a tweet about it.
Okay. Well, with that said,
But yeah,
everybody,
that's all
we're
I have to
gonna
say
end
about that.
this right here. We're gonna end this right here. For those who are willing to stick around, more than happy to continue to chat right here in this link. If you want to join that lounge call, we can all just talk and chat it up in there. But for the sake of the recording in this segment, we're going to go ahead and end things right here. I appreciate everyone who stayed the whole time. That's crazy. And yeah, I hope that it was a holistic help to you next time.
Just posted the link in chat.
Now we're
My
going to
most
talk
recent
about
tweet
silver.
on silver that I posted this morning.